So when we say God, do you like automatically think of like the Christian God, or how do
No,
you view God? How do you view God in your
I,
perspective?
I view God based on how I recognize him or her. It's, you know, the saying that we are one with God, we are we are God happening in God. So let's say we are one whole body and different organs, and we are one organ of God. That's how I view God. So the Christian God helps very much. The Christian God helped me through the transcripts, you know, what is written in the Bible. I've learned so much when I was a born again Christian. Now I'm a died again Christian. That's my joke. That's my joke. No, but uh, for once in my life, I was born again, and it is written kasi, it is written, it is said by Christ Himself that in order for you to have eternal life, you have to be born again. And I am certain that I was born again through a new life and turning away from my old life. So that's one point in my life. And aside from the Christian God, I also listen to different scriptures, especially from Buddhism.
Wow, yeah.
Uh, I believe the Buddha shouldn't be treated as a god. You know, I think the Buddha is also a believer in God. I remember my uncle kasi he's into Buddhism eh. And he said that even the Buddha said everything that happens in life is all directed to God. And I don't wanna discount the beliefs of our brothers in Islam, our Muslim brothers. You know, I believe also in
Mm-hmm.
Allah.
Totoo. Mm-mm.
And you know, kinikilabutan ako.
Congratulations nga pala, grabe. Nung araw nagkausap tayo, on I think on that day lumabas yung episode na nandun ka na sa Batang Quiapo. Grabe.
Yes, yes. Hindi ko
'Di
alam
ba?
kung kailan lalabas eh. Tapos ina-anticipate ko lang. Tapos pagka-uwi ko nun mula sa sa beach trip, pinalabas na pala. Tapos yun, ang daming nag-engage, ang daming nag-send sa akin ng their comments, and sobrang surreal and sobrang grateful na parte ako nung show na yun.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really such an honor to have you here in our, small platform. And yeah,
Yes, don't worry. I do not judge your platform. I mean, if I wasn't Kiko Matos or the Kiko Matos right now, I'd still engage in your platform as a normal or ordinary person. Kasi I'm interested in in your content eh. Kaya kita finalo eh. Kasi I'm really always curious about the unknown and uh, transcendental topics. Yan.
yun. Kaya nga, when Kiko Matos, commented on one of my videos on TikTok, nano talaga ako na, uy, si Kiko Matos pala, he is someone who is into these kinds of things. Kaya eto nga, when we plan to have this interview, I also asked, few of my friends, na nakakakilala din sa'yo na, to drop their questions on what would they want to know about Kiko Matos. So I
Okay.
I just try to summarize them, pero syempre anything goes, no. um This is a free-flowing interview. So no pressure. So eto, pinakaunang tanong since napag-uusapan din ng spiritual stuff is, does the Kiko Matos believe in God?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
I believe that there is an all-powerful being. I believe that there is an intelligence that guides every living thing on earth, even non-living things, even the droplet of rain find itself to the sea again, to be, you know, absorbed by the sky and become in this circle of life, ika nga. So, everything is guided by an intelligence. At yun yung napansin ko sa buhay. I mean, I'm a testimony, I'm a living testimony that may nag-guide sa akin throughout my life, kaya ako nakatungtong kung asan ako ngayon. I mean,
Grabe.
sino ba si Kiko Matos, 'di ba? Bigla na lang bumutok yung pangalan niya dahil dun sa away nila ni Baron Geisler, 'di ba?
Yun.
And
That was very
oh,
epic. I saw that.
and of all the people na pwedeng makalaban ni Baron Geisler, sino ba si Kiko Matos? Yun yung lagi akong na-amaze. Hanggang ngayon, the feeling is surreal na parang di ko pa rin ma-imagine kung paano nangyari lahat ng yun. But hey, I'm here. I'm here.
Totoo. Yeah, and again, congratulations to grabe. Grabe talaga ang twists of fate, 'di ba? Parang it's really unexpected. Now,
Yeah.
napag-uusapan din natin yung God. Kasi medyo philosophical yung pagkasagot mo eh. Do you believe in God? Parang medyo philosophical siya. So, when we say God, do you like automatically think of like the Christian God, or how do
No,
you view God? How do you view God in your
I,
perspective?
I view God based on how I recognize him or her. It's, you know, the saying that we are one with God. We are we are God happening in God. So let's say we are one whole body and different organs, and we are one organ of God. That's how I view God. So the Christian God helps very much. The Christian God helped me through the transcripts, what is written in the Bible. I've learned so much when I was a born again Christian. Now I'm a died again Christian. That's my joke. That's my joke. No, but uh, for once in my life, I was born again, and it is written kasi, it is said by Christ Himself that in order for you to have eternal life, you have to be born again. And I am certain that I was born again through a new life and turning away from my old life. So that's one point in my life. And aside from the Christian God, I also listen to different scriptures, especially from Buddhism.
Wow, yeah.
Uh, I believe the Buddha shouldn't be treated as a god. I think the Buddha is also a believer in God. I remember my uncle kasi he's into Buddhism, and he said that even the Buddha said everything that happens in life is all directed to God. And I don't wanna discount the beliefs of our brothers in Islam, our Muslim brothers. I believe also in
Mm,
Allah.
totoo. Mm-mm.
And kinikilabutan ako. Um, when you say inshallah, 'di ba? God's will.
God's will. Mm.
So you can find commonalities in every religion.
Mm. Mm-mm.
And what I don't like about people naman is that people are so selfish to justify their religion and to say that my belief or my religion is the true religion, is the true meaning of life. And then they will discount, you know, other people's beliefs. And I think that's unfair, that's
Mm,
selfish. I
totoo.
think I think God is too big to fit in one religion.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, how do you see yourself, or how do you view yourself, or let's say, what is your spiritual path right now? Kung meron ka mang sinusunod ngayon, or is it just more of you are a spiritual seeker getting the nuggets of wisdom from different religious traditions and applying it in your life, just being like that?
I guess like how I said it kanina, even a droplet of rain is guided back to the sea and absorbed in the sky to become rain again, to become a cloud, and then when it evaporates, it becomes rain again. I guess I'm a droplet of rain, and my spiritual journey is to where my destination, to wherever my destination is led by God. Andun ako, ayun ako. I have no direction. I have no plans because I always tell people what's when people ask me what's next for Kiko Matos. I always say the wh- what I've learned from the book of Proverbs is many are the plans in the man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that always prevails. I always said that in my interviews. So I'm like a droplet of rain. Wherever God guides me, nandun ako. And I always find myself safe. I always have faith that, my droplet will not find its way in a dead end, or you know in 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 a puddle of mud na hindi na nakastuck na lang doon. I'm always moving, always find
Always
san-
parang evolving, parang ganon.
evolving. Yeah,
Mm,
hindi ako nasa-stuck. And
mm.
mind you, bro, I've never stepped into college. I don't have the credentials to be successful in life. I've always been I've always been judged by other people, especially my mother when I was a kid. Sinasabi sa akin ng nanay ko na walang mangyayari sa buhay ko. And I guess as being Kiko Matos, I've proved her wrong. I've proved a lot of people wrong. And yes, now I'm here. Now
Yeah,
I'm the Kiko Matos that
Kiko Matos, yun.
you know. That
But behind that, grabe din yung pinagdaanan. So, eto, how do you for you, ha, being, this spiritual person, but at the same time being a fighter, um how do you define what is a good person and what is a bad person for you? How do you see that in your
I think a
perspective?
good I think a good person is somebody who thinks less of himself. He's always thinking about others, the well-being of others. You know, I think a good person is somebody who lives to do service to others, not just service for himself. I think a bad person is the one who does service just for his own gain.
Parang
Mind
selfish
you,
lang.
yeah, this person can say the sweetest and kindest words, pero his intentions are all for his own gain.
Totoo.
And at the same time, this other person that doesn't have the kindest words. He speaks harshly, he speaks frankly, he confronts people, but his intentions are for the greater good.
Totoo.
So I'm judged most of the time because of how I present myself in social media. But then again, if I haven't done what I did in social media, paano ako mabubuhay? Paano ako mabubuhay? Yeah, sure. Ang dami kong sinasabing foul language, this and that. Pero everyone's entertained. Everyone's entertained. And I don't mean no harm to anybody. I don't mean to influence people in a negative way. Where in fact my intentions is to inspire people to go for their dreams, and you know do not depend on others. depend on your own creativity, depend on your own calling onto this earth. I guess yun yung ano tawag dito. Yun yung sa tingin kong kaya kong i-justify na, you know, maganda yung ginawa ko. I mean, baka ako lang rin nagsasabi na maganda yung ginawa ko. Pero I wouldn't be where I am right now with all the blessings that I receive if pangit yung ginawa ko. 'Di ba? Kung pangit yung ginawa ko, baka mamaya nakakulong ako. Ang daming may galit sa akin.
Totoo.
'Di ba? Oo.
Eto, kasi 'di ba, a lot of challenges came in your way. Totoo. Based dun sa ano sa mga vlogs mo, and alam naman namin no na marami talaga mga challenges na dumating din sa buhay mo. How did you cope up with that? With these different challenges, how were you able to like integrate your spirituality in overcoming your these different challenges?
Bro, actually, um, in this day and age, everyone's familiar with anxiety and depression, this and that.
Yeah.
I had my share of anxiety and depression in the way past, in my younger years, as a late teenager becoming an adult. I had severe depression and severe undiagnosed, but I knew, I recognized that it was really severe because I would have panic attacks. I would have so many psychological uh psycholo psy, 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 yung psychological terms that you read, that you watch from TV na napansin ko sa buhay ko. And through God, it was always through God. It was always through the scriptures from the Bible, the words of Christ. That's how I coped with life. I mean, we we we've read we've read the book of Matthew, we've read the book of Peter. There's so many quotes there that gives life to the soul, but you cannot remember everything, diba? But every now and then, God finds you in your lowest point, and suddenly you find this light of hope, this light of strength. Bigla kang lumalakas, bigla kang nagiging inspired out of nowhere, out of your misery, biglang may pag-asa ka ulit. Kasi parang binulungan ka ng Diyos eh. Yun yung laging nangyayari sa akin eh. Not 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 not, not so long ago, like maybe at the start of this year, January, ang tumal lahat sa akin. Pero I'm always the type of person who would always say na, you know what, God, you blessed me with good times, and I'm thankful for that. And if I'm going through these bad times, I'll be thankful for these bad times. Because if I'm only thankful for the good times, edi wala akong kwentang anak mo kung masaya lang ako sa mga masasayang bagay. Kasi dapat maging masaya rin ako sa mga bagay na pinaparanas mo sa akin na kahit na mahirap. Kasi hindi yan para sa akin yun. Pag lagi kong binabanggit yun, yung prayer ko na yun, nagkakaroon ako ng lakas ng loob para tumuloy lang sa buhay, maniwala na may pag-asa pa, maniwala
There's a
na
new
may
hope.
bukas pa. Oo.
Totoo, totoo. Alright, ngayon naman, gusto lang namin din malaman eh kung meron ka bang spiritual practice na ginagawa, like sort of, a form of meditation or more prayer, or ano yung mga may mga
Yeah,
routine ka ba na ginagawa every day?
wala akong routine, pero sometimes I find myself meditating. And it's not a routine. It's just that um, I learned how to meditate when I was 17, I think. No.
And this meditation is what type of meditation ito?
Breathing meditation, breathing exercises. And wala, I mean, I've always wished that somebody taught me how to properly meditate. My knowledge of meditation is what I read from the books, from yoga books, what I watch on YouTube, the techniques from YouTube. But prayer is ano eh, prayer is something. ano eh, special to me eh. I'm not the type of person who prays every day eh. I mean, there's this certain prayer that I pray every day, pero nagiging ano eh, parang nagiging machine ako nun eh. Kasi one trait that I've noticed from Christians is that Christians pray because they are told that they should pray every day. And parang nung napansin ko yun, ako, sabihin, kasi hinahalin tulad ko ang Diyos na bilang isang ama, parang isang ama. Kung ako ama, tas meron akong anak na lagi akong kinukulit dahil sa pinagdadasal niya. Ako, ama, alam ko kung ano ibibigay ko sa anak ko. Minsan, hindi yun yung gusto niya. Di ba? So, what's the sense of praying for something? Pero, pero yung ama mo, hindi yun yung gusto niya para sa'yo eh. So there's a certain prayer that I type every day whenever I go out of my houses. I always pray because I'm a motorcycle rider. I've always been on a motorcycle since 2010. I mean, I bought my first motorcycle with my own money during those years. And may na-develop akong prayer na yun nga, parang automatic na ako nun, parang routine na. I always pray na Father God, please keep me away from danger. Keep me on the safe side of the road. Let not any harm happen to me. Please bless my way all throughout the day. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. And may your will be done. As in
Yan.
yun yung parang protection prayer ko. Because I can pray for cars, riches, and whatever the desires of the flesh. Pero yun ba ang gusto ng tatay ko para sa akin? Di ba?
Totoo. Mm.
Tapos minsan, pag naranasan ko yung yung spoil ng mundong ito, I find myself with with the temporary happiness. Pero pag inisip ko talaga yung mga bagay na may kahulugan na binigay talaga sa akin ng Diyos, doon ako nakakahanap ng totoong kaligayahan, totoong contentment. Kasi tayo bilang tao, ang automatic na iniisip natin na gusto natin gawin is yung kung ano yung magpapasaya sa atin momentarily, 'di ba? Hindi natin madalas iniisip kung ano talaga yung tunay na magpapasaya sa atin. And ako, aminado ako, hindi ko rin alam kung ano yung talagang tunay na nagpapasaya sa akin. Pero ang alam ko is kung ano na yung binigay sa akin ng Diyos. Ngayon, tulad na itong bahay na meron ako, tulad nung motor na dinadrive ko, yung kotse na dinadrive ko papunta sa taping, itong asawa kong ayan, gumagapang dahil ayaw niya tayo may istorbo.
Ah,
Yung anak ko na walang sakit, na masaya lagi na nakikita ako.
mm.
Ang dami kong gustong mangyari sa buhay ko pero natatagpuan ko yung sarili ko na nagpapasalamat sa itong mga maliliit na bagay. Diba? Ako marami pa akong gustong gawin. I mean, gusto ko rin magkaroon ng Ford Raptor.
Yun, maganda yun.
Oo, maganda, 'di ba? Pero pag nagkaroon ba ako noon, magiging masaya ba talaga ako?
Yan.
'Di ba? O baka maging mayabang lang ako, 'di ba? Kasi mayabang ang dating ko sa ibang tao.
Ah,
'Yun, nandun ako sa ganung ano eh, perception ko eh.
mm.
Minsan minsan inaalam ko talaga yung tunay na intention ko. Kasi madalas ang tao yun nga eh, ginagawa lang yung mga bagay para sa sarili nilang interest, for their own gain.
Totoo. Yeah,
Ayun.
these things are very ano no, very existential. And to be honest with you, I never expected to hear these things from you. You know, coming from a Kiko Matos that we know.
Mm.
You know, these kinds of things na grabe. 'Di ba? I mean, kung tutusin naman, pwede mo naman talagang kunin lahat eh. Pero yun nga, yun ba talaga magpapasaya sa'yo? Or baka ano lang, 'di ba? Lahat na
Mm.
kasi fleeting lang eh.
Oh, everything is fleeting.
Everything is
Yes.
fleeting eh. Pero yung, 'di ba, yung asawa mo, yung anak mo, yung pag-ibig na natatanggap mo galing sa kanila, sa mga taong naniniwala sa iyo, sa mga taong kilala
Mm.
ka. Those things are really priceless. And a lot of people, even the richest people in the world, maraming nangangarap niyan. But
Mm.
you are so blessed that you are having that right now. And
Yes, bro.
mm,
One more thing to add. Parang uh, sa mga kasabaya kong vloggers, yung iba, they have the millions of followers. They have the millions in their bank accounts. Me, I'm just so happy that I don't have a job that requires me to work every day to go into the office because I'm so happy that I'm living my life in my own terms, that I can spend more time with my daughter. And yun lang yung napagtanto ko na ano, kasi I can always seek these ano worldly riches you know. I can always seek, you know, the amount of money by the millions. Pero the time to be spent with your family, yun yung hindi mo na may babalik. So I'm happy that most of the time nandito ako sa bahay. And anong ibig sabihin nun sa ibang tao? Hindi ka masyadong productive. Di
oo,
ba? Di ka masyadong. But I'm not saying I'm always at the house rin. I
oo,
mean, there are times na sunod-sunod yung ginagawa ko. Kasi mawawala ako 2 weeks. Pero after ng 2 weeks na yun, balik na ako ulit dito sa
mm,
ano ko, sa bahay ko, tapos spend time with the family.
yeah.
Yun yung sa tingin kong pinaka uh,
Pero pinaka-rewarding sa ginagawa mo.
reward,
Oo, oo,
pinaka-reward.
oo.
Mm.
Ayun, ayun. Yeah. Um, about your spiritual journey, kasi may mga nagtatanong din eh. Were you having, how should I put this? Para bang
Doubts?
not really doubts, but were you having like sort of, let's say, visions or let's say dreams, something like parang otherworldly siya. Like
Yeah, bro.
may mga ganun kang bang experiences na
Yeah,
you think
actually,
nag-ano
actually,
sa'yo?
Ondoy, I've dreamt about Ondoy. And yun yung pinakaunang recognition ko about visions. I mean, there are dreams that are so vivid that when I wake up, I always try my best to translate it. I mean, from the book of Freud, Sigmund Freud,
Yeah,
psychoanalysis.
Sigmund Freud.
Yeah, there's a chapter there about interpreting dreams. So how Freud would interpret dreams, it's from a psychologist's perspective, because there are dreams that are interpreted by a spiritual perspective, by mystical perspectives. Sa akin, I just want to stick through to what I've learned, 'di ba? So, when I analyze dreams, sabi ni Freud, yung pinaka-unang idea na nare-relate mo doon sa dream mo na yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Let's say, kunwari, nagising ka sa panaginip mo, tapos meron kang nakitang mansanas. Tapos, kung ano yung naalala mo, kung ano yung naalala mo, sa pagkagising, pero sa totoong buhay, pagkagising mo, kung ano yung naalala mo, may ibig sabihin yun, sabi ni Freud. Kung naalala mo yung mansanas, ano yung unang pumasok sa isip mo? Apple of your eye. So, anong ibig sabihin ng apple of your eye? Sino yung apple of your eye? Yung parang ganun. That's for example. So,
Mm-mm.
yun, from a psychological perspective, yun yung dreams interpretation ni Freud. Pero, yung napanaginipan ko yung ondoy, da, from a spiritual perspective, hindi ko ma-recognize yun. Hindi ko mata-translate yun. Or from a mystical perspective, hindi ko siya kayang interpret. Kasi bago nangyari yung undoy, naalala ko, I was, I think I was 17 or 18. Nangyari yung undoy was at my birthday celebration, my 20th birthday. Hindi, my 19th birthday. My 19th birthday. When I was 17 or 18, kasama ko yung tropa ko, si Jaynard. Natutulog kami sa bahay ng nanay ko dito sa Antipolo. Tapos, nagising ako bigla dahil I had a nightmare na kinuwento ko kagad kay Jaynard. Sabi ko, Yo, Jay, may napanaginipan ako. Sabi niya, ano yun? Sabi ko, nabaha yung buong kamay nilaan. Tapos, tapos habang binabaha, I tried my best to save people. At kasama ko si Jericho Rosales. Nagsusurf kami. Nagsusurf kami sa kamay nilaan. Tapos we were trying to save people. Ngayon, years later nangyari yung undoy, hindi pa ako aware na napatigdipan ko. Tapos nag ano ako, nag-volunteer ako noon sa relief operations para itulungan yung mga nasalanta, ganyan. Because during that time, that was my transition. That was me being born again eh. I was born again into a new life when I was what age was I in? 2009. That was 2009. 18 yun nga, transition ko into my new life being born again. By spirit hindi by baptism eh. Was 18 to 19 doon ako nagkaroon ng bagong paniniwala sa buhay. So we were doing relief operations, ganyan, and I felt so good because I was seeking change in my life. I was seeking, service, doing service for others during that time. And then, months later, kasama ko si Jaynard ulit. Tas, biglang pumasok sa isip ko, Jaynard! Putang ina! Naalala mo yung panaginip ko nung nandun tayo sa bahay? Sabi niya, oh, bakit? Men, na, na, nakita ko yung undoy. Sabi niya, oo nga, no. And the reason why kung bakit ako sure na napanaginipan ko yung undoy is because nabalitaan ko sa TV na si Jericho Rosales used his skateboard to go through the waters, the flood waters, and to
Mm,
help people. To help
mm,
people.
grabe, no?
And then in my dream, I was also in a surfboard with Jericho Rosales
Mm,
on a separate surfboard. So we were helping people. So it doesn't have to necessarily mean or it doesn't have to be accurate in real life. Pero tulad nga ng sinabi ni Freud, kung the first idea that relates to your dream, yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Nung tinranslate ko yung dream ko, I was on the surfboard helping people, saving people. Paano ko siya ita-translate in real life is I volunteered for relief operations. You know, it's not much of a help. It's not saving lives, sure, but you know, that's another head, that's another body count o ambag rin para makatulong sa
totoo.
mga nasalanta, 'di ba?
Parang yung
So,
ano eh, parang yung symbolism niya, figuratively, parang yun ginagawa ni Jericho, yun din yung ginagawa mo. But you are like
oo.
on separate places and you're doing different stuff, but with the same with the same purpose.
Eh,
Parang ganun siya.
yes, at nung kaya ako na-justify na panaginipan ko siya ahead of time is because yun nga napanood ko sa TV or sa balita na Jericho Rosales went out on his skateboard through the waters, to the flood waters, and he was also saving people. And then doon ako na mind blow na parang, oh my God, shit, ganun. And then there are a lot of dreams. So there's also one dream na alala ko na I was going up through a stairwell. And then on a certain level, hindi ko alam kung anong floor. Pag, 'di ba, yung stairwell, ano yan eh, opposite yan, ganyan, 'di ba? Pag
Mm,
ganyan yan, aakyat ka dito,
oo.
tapos aakyat kang ganyan. Yung magto-turn ako dito, magto-turn around ako dito. Biglang ang sumalubong sa akin, putok ng baril. Pang! Tapos namatay ako sa panaginip ko. Tapos nung namatay ako, I was still conscious, pero hindi na ako makagalaw. Tapos yung feeling, may certain feeling, hindi ko alam kung anong tawag sa emotion na yun. So meron akong emotion na parang wala na akong magagawa. Patayin na ako.
Parang
That's the
helpless, parang ganun.
helpless. That's it. That's the end of it. When I woke up from that dream, because it was so vivid, na parang sobrang nakakatakot. I tried to look it up because I couldn't translate it eh. 'Di ba? So sometimes we look it up on Google, there's mystical translations of dreams eh. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng snake? Ano yung ibig sabihin ng mansanas, 'di ba? Or anong ibig sabihin ng malaking mata pag may nakita ang malaking mata, 'di ba? So yung na research ko was when you die in a dream, it means you die from an old way of life and you are welcoming something new.
You're welcoming change, parang ganon.
Change yun, yes,
Oh.
you're welcoming change. Pero this is not necessarily,
Mm-mm.
being born again because I was already born again na dun eh.
Mm-mm.
I was 25 noon or 24 or 25 when I had that dream na may bumaril sa akin. And then when I was 25, doon nangyari yung laban namin ni Baron Geisler. And from that moment,
Mm.
nung tinanggap ko yung hamon at umakit ako sa ring, pagkalabas ko ng ring, everything changed for me. So the old Kiko died
Mm.
and to welcome the new.
Parang that was the time of parang transition talaga siya of a new life. It's like parang you were having like a premonition that something
Yes, yes.
is going to happen. Oo, may major change na mangyayari. And
Yeah,
yung
because
umakyat ka, paikot, di ba? Paakyat.
pataas, paakyat. Oo.
Oo, paakyat. So,
Oh, yes. Yun
mm,
nga. Paakyat,
progress.
hindi pa baba. Oo, progress. And so far so true because during those times I was in a very toxic relationship. I was with a older woman. She was 8 years older than me. And throughout the relationship, para na siyang naging nanay. Because the thing is when you're a man and you're in a relationship with an older woman, eventually nagiging nanay sila. Kasi parang feeling nila they know much better, 'di ba? I remember she would say because I had aside from receding hairline, ngumingipis yung buhok ko. Tapos I was a struggling actor, struggling artist na I didn't get much jobs, I didn't get much inquiries for movies and television ganyan. And she would say pa nga na parang alam mo, ikaw nakakalbo ka na. Tapos, hindi mo pa pinopromote sarili mo sa social media because this is the early stages of social media.
Mm-mm.
Bago pa lang yung
Bago pa lang
Instagram, ganyan.
nagbo-boom yung Facebook
And
tsaka
then,
Instagram.
tapos, and you are judged, as an actor, you are judged by how many people are following you, di ba?
Mm.
And then, sabi niya, you're not working on your social media, you're not taking selfies, this and that, ganyan, ganyan. Hindi ka pa sisikat, laos ka na kagad. Paano yan, ganyan. Tapos sinasabi ko sa kanya, alam mo, ikaw, hindi ko kailangan i-post yung sarili ko araw-araw. Hindi ko kailangan buhatin yung bangko ko at pag-usapan yung sarili ko para makita ng ibang tao na may nangyayari sa akin. Dahil hindi ako ang gagawa niyan, kundi ang Diyos. At pagdating ng araw na yon, itong sinasabi ko sa iyo, maalala mo itong pinag-usapan natin ito dahil wala na ako sa tabi mo at pinapanood mo na lang ako sa TV. Ginanon ko siya. Ginanon ko siya. And I would never forget that day because the energy and and uh yung paninindigan ko nun sa sinasabi ko, I felt so so full of energy, so full of spirit nung sinabi ko yun. Tapos nangyari nga. One day, kaalitan ko na si Baron Geisler. Putang ina, hindi nga ako mahilig mag-selfie, hindi nga ako mahilig mag-promote ng sarili ko sa social media, pero lahat ng tao sa social media, ako yung pinag-uusapan. 'Di ba? Hindi ko kailangan buhati yung sarili kong bangko na sabihin, "Oh, ako meron akong ganito. Oh, ako ganito ganyan." Hindi, pinag-uusapan na ako ng buong sambayanan, buong Pilipinas at lahat ng Pilipino sa buong mundo. Sino yung putang inang Kiko Matos na yan? Ang yabang-yabang niya. 'Di ba? Tapos, during those times, parang feeling ko, oh shit, nagkatotoo yung sinabi ko kay X.
Mm-mm. Totoo. Kasi ano parang yung ginawa mo kasi that was an affirmation. Gumawa ka ng strong affirmation, with all your emotions, with all your energy, with all your soul on that, specific line na sinabi mo. And the universe conspired It's like, God hearing what you
Yeah.
really wanted to do, and it manifested.
Yeah, it manifested.
Oh, manifested. Grabe, no?
And the thing is, ang napansin ko rin, a lot of people try to work their following. They work so hard. Yung iba nga, kumakain ng tae, di ba? Para lang makilala, di ba?
Gra-
But
I
my
want
follow
there.
my following, I didn't work hard so much for my following. I just did what I felt like doing. And the followers came, the subscribers came. If you notice, sure, I'm always making content, but the reason why I make content, because that's my bread and butter. I need to make content so then I can make money in my own terms, because I don't have a job. I'm unemployed. But I don't make content para madagdagan yung followers ko. I make content para madagdagan yung bank account ko. But for some reason, hindi ko alam kung saan biglang people are just clicking the follow button on my page, the
Mm-mm.
subscribe button on my YouTube channel. And I'm just grateful na,
Totoo.
hey, at least for somebody like me who's not so special, I don't see myself as a very special, a very important person. I just see myself as an ordinary Joe, like everybody else who's just chasing for his dreams. And I remember pa nga as a teenager, in transition, when I was born again, I would pray pa nga dati, Lord, um, I don't want to pray about yun nga, the cars and the riches, but if I would be selfish of one thing, I just want to pray that you make me an inspiration someday, that I would be able to I would be able to show people that I have done these things through you. Make me as your instrument to promote hope, to promote uh, love for one another, to promote faith in God. I remember yun nga, my selfish desire as a teenager was to become an inspiration. Yun nga, to become an inspiration. Yeah. So hanggang
Dumaan ka ba
ngayon
sa ano? Sorry to cut you off ha, pero tanong ko lang, no, dumaan ka din ba sa stage nung nagsisika, dumaan ka din ba sa stage na hindi ka na naniwala sa Diyos? May ganong stage ka ba ng life mo dati?
okay, okay. I was an atheist as a young teenager.
Mm,
When I
mm,
became a teenager, 13, I was very rebellious. I mean, um, which I don't know why. I don't know why I was very rebellious. Kasama ko naman parehong magulang ko, lumalaki. I have my dad, I have my mother, you know. There was really no no reason, because if you notice, I'm really interested in psychology rin eh. And base sa mga pinag-aralan ng psychology, mga psychology, the studies in psychology, rebellion comes from a young age. Rebellious, most cases are living with a single parent, ganyan, kaya rebellious yung bata.
mm, mm.
I guess there are some special cases like mine na dalawa yung parent, kasama ko parehong parents. Pero I've always been a rebellious kid towards my dad and towards my mother, to what they wanted for me in my life. Naalala ko yung piano lessons as a young kid, 5 or 6 years old, 4 or 5 or 6 years old. Ayoko mag-piano lessons. I rebelled against that. And in many ways, I rebelled against the will of my own parents. So especially when it comes to going to church.
Mm, mm.
When I was 13, parang mas malawak na yung isip mo, pero bata ka pa rin. Malawak
Ah,
na yung isip mo. So parang
high school na
I
yan, di
just,
ba? High school ka na niyan.
oo, oo. Na ano na ako, mayabang na ako na nagsasabi na, walang Diyos. Sino ba may sasabi na sa'yo na totoong Diyos? Sinasabi lang nila na may Diyos para para maging mabuti kang tao. Mga ganung, gumagawa na ako mga sarili kong
Para takutin
justifications.
ka, para ganun.
Pero kaya when I was older, nung iniisip ko kung bakit ako ganun, is because I was rebelling against ano pala, the Catholic Church lang, the practices of the Catholic Church, the practices of praying the Rosary, saying the Hail Mary 10 times, yung mga ganun, is because yun pala, as a young spiritual kid, um, ayoko ng ganung practice. Ayoko ng ganung practice. Kaya, anyway, going back to the story, when I was 13 until 2009 or 2008, I was 13 2003. So 13 to 2008, let's say 2008 lang years, 5 years. I
Oh.
was solid atheist. Naalala ko pa nga, there was a group of children trying to invite me to be part of their church. It was a born again Christian church. And then and then binara ko siya, binasag ko siya din and there na parang paano mo masasabi totoo yung Diyos mo? Parang ganun. Ikaw nga eh. Alam mo yun, the usual,
Mm, mm, mm.
usual,
Di usually binabara
cliches.
mo yung ano, binabara mo yung
Binabara.
mm.
But there was one point in my life that I was so down. I think I was 17 or 18. Yeah, I was so down. Nagkaroon ng depression sa family ko. My dad had to go to Portugal sa bansa niya kasi wala eh. We had a financial crisis in our family. We were living in a really nice house in BF Homes, Parañaque. If so, uh, for your knowledge, BF Homes is a posh residence in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Parañaque.
Mm, mm, mm.
Um, you can only live there pag well off yung family mo. Tapos nawala yung bahay and then we found ourselves in the middle of nowhere in Antipolo. From a big house, having cars, tapos napunta kami sa isang kubo sa kalagitnaan ng kagubatan. Walang kuryente, wala kaming kapitbahay. Walang rep. So yung tubig namin, temperate,
Mm, mm, mm. Walang malamig na tubig.
walang malamig. So, ang dami kong galit, pait noon as a teenager. And lagi ako naipag-away sa nanay ko. And then one day, sa sobrang galit, sa sobrang pait, gaaway kami ng nanay ko. Tapos, lumabas ako ng bahay. Kasi hindi ko na kaya yung bigat na nararamdaman ko. Kasi napakabigat. Ay, bakit ba lagi kami nag-aaway? Ganun yung mga pumapasok sa isip ko. Lumabas ako. Tapos, isa lang naalala ko nung nasa labas ako. Tapos, nung nasa labas ako ng bahay, yung bahay nga kami, situated sa gitna ng gubat. Walang kapitbahay. So, mapuno.
Mm, 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 mm.
So,
Grabe,
so,
no?
so parang I found myself meditating on the word Jesus saves. Because alam mo yung there's a billboard in EDSA and there's a billboard also in South Luzon Expressway. Na if you're kung taga Maynila ka, alam mo yun, you're aware na there's a billboard where it says talk to me dash God. Tapos sa EDSA merong Jesus saves. Back in the day merong billboard nun. So I was dwelling in Jesus saves. I was meditating on it. Jesus saves. And then I prayed out of nowhere. And I remember my exact prayer. I said, Jesus or Lord God, whatever your name is, kung totoo ka man, gawin mo nga akong masaya. At pag naging masaya ako, tsaka ako maniniwala sa'yo. So I was testing God. I didn't know na tama yung ginagawa ko. Na tama pala yun. And then pagkadasal ko nun, biglang humangin ng malakas. Yung mula sa kanan, humangin ng paganon, pakaliwa. Hindi yung isang sabay na hangin. Hindi. Yung mula sa kanan, gumanon. Sabi ko, putang ina, baka totoo nga, sinasagot ako ng Diyos. Oh, sabi ko, hala, baka totoo nga ang Diyos. Tapos, edi nawala na yung hangin. Ginawa ko, bumalik ako ng bahay. Pagkabalik ko ng bahay, nanay ko, galit pa rin. Ang dami pa rin sinasabi, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos, nagulat ako sa sarili ko. Kasi, nanahimik ako. Dahil may bumubulong na sa akin noon na sinabihan ako na manahimik ka lang. So, nanahimik ako. Tapos, tinanggap ko lang yung lahat ng sinasabi ng nanay ko. Tapos, eventually, na, na, na-pick up ko na yung bago kong ugali. Na manahimik lang pag may sinasabi siya. Natuto na ako makinig. Tapos, napagtanto ko na, shit, may nagbago sa akin. Tapos simula no, nagdadasal na ako, Lord, okay, so totoo ka. Parang sinagot mo ako eh. Alam ko sumagot ka nung humangin eh. Lord, pakilala ka nga sa akin. Gusto kitang makilala ng mas higit pa sa kung ano yung pagkakaalam ko sa'yo. So parang may bumulong sa akin, di ba may Bible kayo, bunutin mo. So binunot ko yung pukin ng inang King James Version ng Bible. So
Classic.
binabasa ko, akala ko yun talaga yung Bible. Hindi ko alam na meron palang NIV version. As a young kid or as a teenager, I just thought na it is always the King James version, yun lang yun. So binabasa ko yung before you pick it the before you pluck the dirt in your brother's eye, you pluck it first the dirt from your eye. Ganun ko binabasa, sabi ko.
Oo.
Okay, I'm just trying so hard, God, just to understand you and know you. Pero even though it's so hard to know you, I will read. Ang dami ko pa rin natutunan kahit na Old English yung binabasa ko.
Oo. Parang Shakespearean language yung King James Version eh. Parang
Oo. Oo.
mataling haga.
Tapos ito, so open na ako. I was open na to learn about God. I found myself once at the apartment of my friend. Wala siya. Kasi when you're young, you sleep over at your other friend's house, ganyan.
Totoo.
So parang wala siyang Bible noon. So I was on a spiritual mission na eh. Na hindi ko pa alam na spiritual journey ko na yun. Hindi ko pa alam yung word of spirituality noon. Hindi ko pa alam. And then sabi ko, may bumulong sa akin. Parang uh, kumausap ka ng isang taong nakakilala sa Diyos. So ang ginawa ko, lumabas ako ng apartment niya. Naghanap ako ng simbahan kasi ang closest ang closest recognition ko, ang pinakamalapit na knowledge ko about sa Diyos ay ang simbahang Katoliko. So ang ginawa ko, pumunta ako doon sa simbahan, pero sarado. Tapos parang inikot ko yung buong simbahan para baka may backdoor, ganyan. Dahil gusto kong kumausap ng pari noon para matuto. Yung sasabihin, yung tipong pag nakita ko yung pare, Father, gusto ko lang pong makakilala ang Diyos. Baka pwede po kayo magkwento sa akin tungkol sa Diyos. Yung ganun lang yung sinisik ko. Tapos, wala, sarado yung simbahan. Sarado, hindi. Edi parang on that days, na-realize ko, siguro I'm not meant to talk to somebody who knows God right now. So, sarado yung simbahan. Tapos, sinabi ko lang sa sarili ko, ay, baka, baka hindi pa time para mga usap ng taong nakakilala sa Diyos. And then, lumipas ang buwan. Okay, I was still praying, I was still um, uh, reading the Bible. Tapos I would go to church every now and then. Pero hindi pa ako kumakausap ng pare mismo. And then, for some weird reason, napunta ako sa Tarlac, sa Banban Tarlac, kasi merong kaibigan yung nanay ko na dating film producer. Tapos naghahanap sila ng parang bagong na artista na tawag dito, i-develop na artista, ganyan.
Para
Pero,
i-handle na artista.
i-handle. Pero hindi successful yung attempt na yun. Hindi successful yung attempt na yun. Pero isa lang ang nangyari dun sa 2 months kong tumira dun sa Bamban Tarlac is dun ako nabaptize by spirit. Kasi there was one lazy afternoon, nakatambay ako, nag-yosi ako ng ganyan. So may mga group of Christians dumaan. Sabi, brother, meron kaming meron
I-share.
kaming hindi, meron kaming bagong simbahan. So it's
Ah,
gonna be our first service. Kasi it was a new village eh. A young village na underdeveloped. So meron kaming bagong simbahan dito and we're gonna have our first service. We were wondering if kung pwede ka namin ma-invite. Tapos biglang bumulong sa akin yung laging bumubulong sa akin. Sabi mo, oo, sasama ka. Sabi ko, yes, sige, sama ako. Tapos nagulat sila. Ha? Sasama ka? Oo, sasama ako. Kasi ano lang ako alam mo yung teenager na mukhang walang pakialam sa buhay mo kung hindi gagawa mo ito, tapos nag-iossi pa, ganyan. Sabi ko, sige, sige bro, sasama ako. Tapos gulat sila. So parang, okay, sige, sama ka. Sumama ako. Tapos, of course, the usual, uh, talking about verses in the Bible, ganyan. And then, yung huli, yung ceremony that starts with, it's not an accident you are here. You are not here by accident. You are called to be here. Uh, the moment that you, the moment na pumasok ka dito sa simbahan na to, nakasulat na nararapat kang mapunta dito. Yung the usual. Tapos, kung ikaw ba ay may pinagdadaanan sa buhay mo at hindi mo alam kung anong gagawin, taas mo ang kamay mo kung hirap na hirap ka na. Dahil si Jesus lang ang makakasalba sa iyo sa kahit anong pinagdadaanan mo. Itaas mo ang kamay mo para for to let it be known as a sign that you are accepting Jesus, ganun. So parang tinaas ko talagang todong ganyan, no? Tapos may mararamdaman ka kapatid at yung nararamdaman mo yan, yan na ang spirito ni Hesus Kristo na pumapasok sa iyo. Tanggapin mo siya at sabihin mo, parang there's a prayer when you accept Christ, yung parang you acknowledge that you are a sinner and that you are accepting Christ and that you are being born again by spirit. Tas yun, doon ako naging born again. Kasi after nun
Mm.
parang sobrang
Magaan.
sobrang
Magaan yung
ex-
feeling.
ecstatic yung nararamdaman ko na there was this energy talaga na naramdaman ko that day that lasted for hours na feeling ko lahat ng pangarap ko sa buhay magagawa ko. Kasi meron na akong Diyos na gumagabay. Na solidify yung spirit na bumubulong sa akin. Tapos ever since nun, I seek God in the born again Christian church. And doon na ako talaga naghahanap ng simbahan every Sunday. At hindi lang yun, napunta rin ako sa Bible study groups, you know. So always seeking God. Tapos I was a really devout Christian noon during those times. Ilang years ba ako naging devoted? I guess that was 2000. Let's say that was 2009, 10, 11, 2009, 11, 12, 13. 5 years, mga 5 years. So yun talaga, as in, naalala ko pa nga I will find myself in a position where merong gusto makipagtalik sa akin na babae, tapos parang ano nga ba sabi ni Apostle Paul, do not engage in premarital sex. Tapos talagang hahanap ako ng paraan para makaalis sa situation na yun. Ganun, ganun,
Grabe, grabe.
oo,
Oo.
ganun, ganun, ganun. Sobrang,
Discipline talaga, no? Kasi parang
oo,
seryoso ka sa spiritual practice mo eh.
mm, no, hindi ako makapaniwala sa sarili ko hanggang ngayon na ganun ako, umabot ako sa point na ganun. Pero dahil I died again, nagsisisi ako na putang na sana tinira ko na yan. Pero
Yeah, but kidding aside, oh, totoo, totoo.
kidding aside, even though even though I joke around na I died again, but that doesn't mean anything naman talaga. It's just a
Totoo,
joke.
totoo. Oh.
I had to pick up something from the born again Christian church that I'll be using throughout my journey in
Mm.
life, throughout my spiritual journey. Because one day I found myself at a Bible study, and yung napapansin ko sa sarili ko, nagiging Sunday Christian na ako, na Kristiyano ako kasi nasa loob ako ng simbahan. Tapos kasama ko lang yung ibang mga Kristiyano. Pero hindi nila alam, nag-yosi pa rin ako. Hindi nila alam na at times I still drink. Yun na lang yung mga ano ko mga tawag dito, mga kasalanan na ginagawa ko na hindi ako proud nun. Tapos napansin ko, tuwing Bible study, syempre may mga questions yan eh. What if you find yourself in a situation, ano yung gagawin mo? Yung mga ganong general questions. Tapos nakikinig ako sa sagot ng ibang tao. Tapos sabi nila, ah, if I find myself in that situation, first of all, I will pray to Jesus and ask for guidance, ganyan ganyan. Tapos ako parang shit, yun rin yung sasabihin ko eh. Tapos napagtanto ko, wait lang, tama ba na sabihin ko ano yung sinabi niya? Eh di parang 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 ako robot. Tapos doon ko napagtanto na parang hindi na ako nagpapakatotoo sa sarili ko. oh my God, nagiging ano na ako, parang, hindi ko alam yung term eh. Pero, I don't think this is what Christ wants for me. Na parang, blind follower na ako eh. Yun, blind follower. Na parang, just because sinabi nung pastor na ito lang yung tama, ito na talaga yung tama. So parang sabi ko, oh shit, hindi na ako nagpapakatotoo. Kasi ang paniniwala ko kay Christ was to Christ is this being that will reveal your true potential in this life. You know, Christ is not here to judge you based from how many good deeds you have done, how many, 'di ba? But for you to be able to fulfill your purpose in this life. That is why Christ came, you know. He died for our sins for us to be able to live our lives and to be able to disciple other people, to influence other people that there is hope, that there is, yun talaga yung symbol sa akin ni Christ, to really bring out your true potential, to bring out your true purpose in life, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense totally.
And then, and then I became a different kind of Christian. Kasi after nun, so, medyo tumigil yung, hindi, tumigil pala ako sa pagiging Sunday Christian ko nung nabaptize ako by water naman. Okay, so nung nabaptize ako by water, meron ako na-meet na friend na kasing edad ko. I think I was 23 na ako noon. So tisoy rin siya, we were young, we full of energy, maraming trip, ganyan-ganyan. So parang I found another brother, 'di ba? Parang oh, another bro. Pero one day, putang ina, he confessed his love for me.
Damn!
At tapos sabi ko, what the fuck? Long story short, sabi lang sa akin ng nanay niya na, Kiko, wag mo na sabihin sa church or anybody from the church na yun yung nangyari kay itago natin sa pangalan Paulo. Okay, hindi totoong pangalan.
Mm,
Wag mo
mm,
na lang sabihin sa mga tao sa church, sa ministry na yun yung nangyari sa inyo ni Paulo. Sabi ko, tita, don't worry. Hindi na ako pupunta I will not go to church anymore. I'll just find another church. Pero hindi rin ako naghanap ng ibang simbahan para salihan. I mean, nawala yung momentum ko eh kasi nabaptize na ako eh.
mm, mm.
Tapos biglang hindi na ako pwedeng pumunta sa church na yun. So
Di
parang ang
awkward na,
dating,
di ba? Awkward na.
oh, awkward, oh. So parang sa, yun, I was confused noon and asking God na, God, why can't I go back to church when I found happiness, I found a home that I can be. Pero bakit? Yung pala, God was setting me up for a bigger purpose and not just for the Christian church. Kasi now when I'm invited by other people sa Bible meetings nila, kapag sumagot ako, totoo na. Kasi nga, tulad ng sinabi ko sa iyo, I found myself being robotic in my answers when it comes to the questions in a Bible study. There was one Bible study meeting where ang pinag-uusapan, once you are born again, you should not engage in the old ways, in your old ways. So, hindi ka na dapat nagyosi, hindi ka na dapat umiinom, ganito, ganyan. Tapos, sinabihan ko yung leader na, I'm sorry, but I beg to disagree. I
Mm,
think the real meaning of this passage is to be done with your old ways, yes, but um, vices like drinking and smoking. The main point kung bakit ako nag-disagree dun sa leader was, the thing is kasi, I had friends,
mm,
sinabi ko sa kanya, the thing is kasi, I had friends that never believed in God. And I know kung paano tumakbo yung utak
mm,
nila. Ngayon, nung ako bilang kaibigan nila na hindi naniniwala sa Diyos dati, tapos isang araw naniniwala sa Diyos, ako yung naging Bible nila. Ako yung naging daan para sa kanila, para makilala nila ang Diyos. Kasi ako rin nagyoyosi ako at umiinom ako.
mm.
Ngayon, nagshi-share ako sa ginawa ni Kristo sa buhay ko at sa ginawa ni Kristo sa marami pang tao dahil nakaka-relate sila sa akin dahil
Nakaka-relate, oo.
nagyosi kami pareho at nagiinom. Dahil pag ikaw pumunta ka sa grupo na yon, tas sinasabi mo sa kanila kung ano yung sinasabi mo sa amin ngayon, hindi ka nila papakinggan, sabi kong ganun sa kanya. Pero dahil ako, nagyosi ako sa harapan nila, I'm talking about Christ,
Mm,
mas magre-relate sila sa akin. At
mm.
parang pakiramdam nila na sila rin may pag-asa.
May pag-asa.
So, okay, sige, sabihin mong ano, iwan na yung mga bisyo mo nung nakaraan. Okay yun kung kaya mo. Okay yun. Pero it doesn't necessarily mean na masama ito.
Mm. Eto if I may add, actually may sinabi si Apostle Paul na parang ganyan din, na if you are talking to a Gentile, parang do it in the ways of the Gentiles. If you are talking to the Jews, do it in the ways of the Jews, parang ganon. Nang sa ganon, mas maiintindihan nila yung mensahe. Kasi 'di ba?
Oh,
'Di
shit.
ba? 'Di ba?
Oo
Oh,
nga, no.
kasi 'di ba? May sinabi ganyan si Paul eh. So, yung sa'yo medyo unorthodox siya, pero the thing is the same pa din. Kasi you were doing it in a way na you're being a Gentile to the Gentiles, but you are preaching like the word to them. And if I may add no, about the leaving your past life behind, totoo naman yun, but when you leave your past life behind, it's more of your old mindset, your,
Mm,
let's say, how, let's say, hateful you were to the world. If you read the Old Testament, God is actually encouraging people to drink when there is a celebration.
mm,
May mga verses doon na bring forth the strongest wine, the best wine, or may mga ganon if there is a celebration. Kasi kung if we go to Buddhism, kasi 'di ba you also subscribe to Buddhism, hindi masama ang mga bagay na ito. It's actually
mm,
your attachment to these things. If you are too
mm,
attached to these things, na hindi ka na magfa-function ng normal kasi you are too attached for this. Lahat ng bagay, kahit pagkain, attached ka sa pagkain, it becomes gluttony. Attached ka sa sex, it becomes lust. Attached ka sa status mo, it becomes pride, and so on. So, it's actually our attachment to these things that is bad. If we drink to a friend kasi may problema, usabayan natin siya, no, inom tayo. So, it's not really bad kasi, pero sa iba kasi sa mainstream Christians, pag inom talaga bad. You'll
oo.
see bad talaga. So eto, alam mo Kiko, napapansin namin no sa mga tao na nasa spiritual community din, yung ano mo, yung parang demeanor mo, yung how you present yourself. Parang parang Andrew Tate eh. So are you also do you follow Andrew Tate and his, let's say, philosophy, the red pill
No,
masculinity?
no, no, no.
Not really.
There was always Kiko Matos before Andrew Tate
Mm.
found, you
Mm-mm.
know,
Yeah, I'm
uh,
not saying na
came,
ginagaya mo siya, but
yeah.
like the philosophy, the how
No,
you
no,
think.
no, 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 no.
No, hindi.
I mean, I agree in a lot of his points. You know, I agree that uh, sometimes he would say that being a man is the hardest thing in this world because being a man, you have to prove yourself. You have to be financially stable. You have to prove yourself worthy because if you're not financially independent, you are nothing. Whereas if you're a woman, it's easy. It's easy to step in a yacht. It's easy to have nice cars if you're a woman. Pero who pays for it? It's the man, 'di ba? So there are some points now I would agree na sinasabi ni
Mm-mm.
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate. Oo.
Pero the, as the saying goes, great minds think alike, 'di ba? Great minds think alike. Pero ewan ko minsan kasi si Andrew Tate minsan ano na rin eh, nagka-clout. He's just doing it for clout. Yun rin napapansin ko eh. When he says something for the sake of clout, minsan ginagawa niya yun para ma-broaden yung reach niya. At yun, aware ako doon. At saka iba yung style ni Andrew Tate eh. Sa,
Mm-mm.
sa style ko. Um, Andrew Tate kasi he comes on and tells you what to do and tells you what's right. As for me, no, I will not tell you what to do and I will not tell you what's right. I will give you an example of what to do because I will do it myself. So you would see it through my actions and
Mm,
not just through the words.
mm,
But then again, may credibility naman si Andrew Tate sa mga sinasabi niya eh. Di ba?
totoo.
It's just that, uh, is there
Bit,
proof? Is there
mm.
proof sa mga sinasabi niya? Di ba? May proof ba? Yeah, I know meron siyang Bugatti. Asa na ngayon?
Kalalabas lang niya sana, di ba? Kulungan. Kalalabas
Oo.
lang niya. Oo, oo.
Oo.
Yun nga eh. So basically, if Andrew Tate, tells you what to do, basically Kiko Matos is just showing you this is what I'm doing. You can do this, but do it on your own. Do it on your style. Parang
Yeah.
ganun. Parang ganun.
Yeah. Find your own find your own calling.
Find your own calling.
I mean, uh, Andrew Tate is a really, really strong influence for the young kids out there. I
Yeah.
mean, if I had an Andrew Tate when I was a teenager, I would really look up to him. But you don't need an Andrew Tate in your life. You don't need it. You can hear him out, you can get inspired, but not to a point that you have to praise him, you have to follow him everything in what he says because you can be your own Andrew Tate. You can be
Totoo.
your own masculine figure.
In your
It
own
doesn't
terms.
in your own terms. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. It doesn't matter if you're gay. You can be your own best version of yourself, your own Andrew Tate version. If I'm making any sense, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
You're totally making sense. Ito,
but
follow-up question ko dyan, no?
uh,
So since pag-uusapan din yan about, the youth following someone, now, do you want the youth to follow the steps of Kiko Matos?
no, 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 no. I remember as a young actor, I would always be asked as kasi I came into the industry in in the independent. I came into the showbiz industry in the independent cinema sector, not the mainstream sector. I came into the independent
Mm-mm.
cinema sector. So I would always be compared to Coco Martin, diba? And naalala ko noon, I would remember back then, I would be asked the question over and over again, are you the next Coco Martin? And then I would say, I admire Coco Martin. I am inspired by him, but I am not the next Coco Martin because if I would be the next Coco Martin, then I would just follow his footsteps. I would do his formula. But I never did his formula. It just so happened that I was in the independent sector. And if I followed Coco Martin, then I'll be a version of Coco Martin 2.0. Diba? I'll be Coco Martin 2.0. No, I'm Kiko Matos. I'm my own. I carved my own path. So I wouldn't suggest to people that you follow my footsteps. No. If there is somebody that we should follow the footsteps, I think it would be Christ.
I agree.
Um,
Mm.
I followed Christ's footsteps. That's what made me, and that's what led me here. Christ's footsteps. I'd rather you follow Christ's footsteps. Because my footsteps, it would only take you not so far. But if you walk with Christ, you will be led to unimaginable places. I have never imagined I have never imagined I have never imagined whatever I've accomplished now, whatever I've gained, whatever is happening in my life right now, I've never imagined it before to happen. Yun lang. so,
Grabe,
so, so
grabe. No, it's actually very powerful. No? It's very empowering. 'Di ba? You are not the next Coco Martin, but you are the first Kiko Matos. And I think
yes.
I think that's the very message na para talagang pinangahawakan mo ngayon. No? Do not follow me, but follow your own bliss. If you're looking for a guide, Jesus can be a very good guide, but be the first you. Parang ganun
Yeah.
yung pinaka-message. Be the first you.
And that's why I admire you, Father Joe, nung I came across your content and then nalaman ko na you are you're a priest from the Catholic Church. You've ano na eh, you've taken down my perception about Catholic priests. I think you are like another version of Pope Francis.
Alam mo, I I mean, thank you no for for saying that you think of me like as, another version of Pope Francis. Pero I really don't see myself, being like Pope Francis. He's really
Mhm.
something. He's really something. Um, though, yun nga sinabi mo kanina, no? Alam sinabi mo kanina, great people like or
Yeah,
think
great
alike,
minds think alike.
great
Oo.
minds think alike. Ganon. I think because Pope Francis knew that the Roman Catholic Church needs to be reformed. Kaya eto yung ginagawa niya. Kung ano yung sa tingin niya yung tama, kung ano yung katuruan talaga ni Jesus about love and compassion, I think yun lang din yung ginagawa niya, which is also aligned to what we are doing in our church as well.
May question ako sa'yo.
Sige, sige. Eto.
What's your opinion about the seven sacred sacraments?
Well, our take in that is the seven sacraments are, let's say, a powerful ritual, but it's not for everyone. It's a very powerful ritual because may ano kasi dyan may nakatagong symbology din dyan eh. If you are into psychology, like you're always reading like the works of Sigmund Freud or Carl Jung, um, yun, nandun. It's, in a nutshell, meron siyang tinatawag nating psycho-spiritual effect in a way na if ever since pagkabata, you were used to that rituals make sense to you, it helps you be attuned to God,
Mm.
to your personal God. So that's how we see it. For example, the mass, though, the mass seems for, let's say, for the teenagers right now, the mass seems, a bit boring,
Yeah.
monotonous and stuff. But if you think of those people who are accustomed to that ever since they were young, let's say our parents or our grandparents or great great grandparents who's really influenced talaga sa Roman Catholicism, that makes sense to them. The whole mass itself is an intensive meditation. And if you are really, if you go to the church, if you're really in tune to that practice, to that ritual, it brings benefit to you. Oo.
Mm.
Yung para sa akin lang siguro yung problema kasi na nangyari sa religion is that kasi para sa akin religion talaga is like an attempt for us humans to be connected again with God. But since mga tao din yung nadadala ng religion, yung mga leaders, along the way, alam mo yun, may mga daming mga
Nagiging corrupt.
issues o nagiging corrupted siya. So yun. Kaya nga eto, ginagawa ko tong mga interviews na to talk to people who have been like doing their own spiritual paths, personal spiritual paths. May na-interview na ako mga witch, mga albularyo, mga kung sino-sino pa dyan na si Ed Kalawag nga dati. I mean kahapon nag-usap din kami. And may recurring theme eh. May recurring theme. It's just, we are all just like going back to God. Yun lang yung
Mm.
pinaka ano.
Point to
Mm.
but yun din yung akin eh.
Yun yung
Just
pinaka
going
punto
back.
eh. Mm. Eto lang sa kasi 'di ba nung nag-comment ka one time, I was posting like videos about Gnosticism. So, yun yung nagre-resonate sa akin eh. Mas nagre-resonate sa akin yung Christian spirituality. Though Christian in a much broader perspective. Hindi yung
Mm.
Christian na tayo lang yung totoo, tayo lang yung
Oh.
maliligtas. Hindi yung ganon. Hindi yung ganon. Oo. So parang I
Well,
think in that parang
well,
doon
my
tayo
my take kasi when it comes to spirituality, I mean, in this earth, we are born in different parts of the world. So some parts of the world never heard about Christ pa nga eh, 'di ba?
totoo.
So who are we to say that if you do not believe in Christ, you're going to hell?
Yeah. Mm.
You might go to heaven. And one more thing, I don't believe in heaven or hell. I believe in reincarnation. But
Oh,
that's another topic. But who are we to say na tayo lang masasagip? I think in a spiritual journey, the closest religion that is available to you, dun tayo mag-uumpisa when we are being called by the higher being. If you are born in a Muslim country, in order for you to get back in tune with God, you have to, you know, get to know God through the Quran,
yeah.
through
Through
the
that path.
Islam faith. Yeah, through that path. If you were born in Jamaica, you should engage in Rastafarianism, diba?
Totoo.
So that's my take when it comes to religion.
Yeah.
Kung ano yung pinakamalapit sa'yo,
Yun eh.
dun ka,
Mm,
oo,
mm. Exactly, exactly. That's actually the point. Kaya nga, um, yun nga sinasabi nila na all path talaga leads to God. All path leads to God. So you pick one path, focus on that path, but it doesn't mean na you don't also
side,
honor and
oo,
respect other religious traditions. They are
yeah,
equally valid as your path. It's just so happen na hindi sila custom sa path mo, di ba? So,
yeah.
sana kung lahat ng tao no ganyan mag-isip, walang gulo, walang problema when it comes to spirituality. Pero yun nga,
Edi ang boring na ng buhay.
ang boring na din ng buhay, walang challenges. Yun eh.
Uh,
Oh. Anyway, eto, Kiko, dami mo nang na-share, no? And I think this is the first time really, personally, na narinig ko nanggagaling sa iyo na ganito ka deep ganito pala ka deep yung mga thoughts niya, no? No ni Kiko Matos. So, this is a very wonderful talk. Now, um do you want to like share anything to like let's say the seekers right now who are also seeking spiritually, anong pwede mong ma-advise sa kanila, those people who are still seeking their spiritual path or those people who are already in their spiritual journey pero alam mo yun naguguluhan sila as of now.
I guess what I what I can share right now is the art of listening. Yun lang, just listen. Have your ears open. Um, it's good to talk and to share, sure, but to listen is very hard. It's very difficult to listen. Like there are so many stages in my life where I wished I just listened so that I would have learned more instead of acting like I know what I'm talking about, instead of keep on talking and talking and talking and talking. Most of the times, some all another person needs is someone who can listen. And I forgot who said this. It's a quote. Somebody said that when you talk, you're only repeating what you know, but when you listen, you're learning something new. So yun lang, just listen. Because when you listen, you might hear something that nobody else hears, if you know what I mean.
Totoo, totoo. So sa mga taong nasa spiritual journey, no, dear brothers and sisters, yun talaga pinaka message talaga sa pag-usap namin ni Kiko Matos ngayon is that listen, no.
Yeah.
Ever since kanina nung pinag-usapan natin lahat, talaga Kiko Matos was just listening to the divine. And it makes sense, no? Sa path naman ni Kiko Matos, he's not forcing things. He's not forcing things. Just go with the flow. Yun nga, yung tinatawag natin na
No, no,
flow
no, no,
state.
not no, no, not go with the flow. It doesn't. Remember, only dead fish go with the flow.
Mm,
If I would have gone with the flow, then I'd be a fool, diba? I wouldn't be where I am right now.
mm,
But go with that flow that's meant for you.
mm. No, that
Because
hits different.
if you go with the flow where everybody goes,
Mm,
where you'll end up where everybody is at, diba?
totoo, totoo.
But there's a certain route meant for you. Go with that flow.
Go with that flow. Listen, listen, because
Oh,
that
listen.
voice is pointing you to that flow. Kasi
Yes.
mahirap
And
minsan, no?
and uh, let me expound on that voice. Hindi
Sure.
ko siya naririnig literally in a physical form na may bumubulong sa akin with a deep voice, Kiko Matos, ito ang gawin mo. No. Sometimes this voice talks to me through the wind, through the formations of clouds, through the warmth of the air or the coldness of the air. It's more of what uh our physical senses. It's more I hear it more than my physical senses. I hear it in a different sense. It doesn't have to literally mean na bumubulong siya sa'yo. Sometimes it talks to you through vision, through what I see and what I
Mm-mm.
feel. Ganun.
Totoo.
Ganun siya. Baka
Mm.
kasi yung ibang spiritual seekers,
May,
naka-open yung ears,
may
hinihintay yung
nagsasalita.
voice. Asan na? Akala ko
Oo.
ba listen? When you listen, it's not just the ears.
Literally the ears.
It's your own being. You listen with your own being, with the pores of your skin, with the vibration you feel.
Mm-mm.
That's how I listen, and I
Mm.
don't know how I learned this. I don't know. It just happened. It's like ikaw as a young kid. Do you know how you learned how you learn how to ride a bicycle? No, you just so
You just,
happen
yeah,
to hop on it and just figured it out, and then suddenly
mm,
you already know. But do you know the process?
not
No,
really.
you cannot explain. Ganun. So now I know how to ride a bike, but I
Mm.
don't know how I came from not knowing how to ride a bike to knowing how to, drive a bike.
So you just hop on it and then figure it out later on. Paano?
Yeah,
I
ganun.
think
So,
I think the parang yung term kasi na listen is more of a figurative way of saying that be open and be receptive to the message of God, whatever that is. If because if you're receptive, ito yung sinabi ng spiritual teacher ko dati eh. Because if you're open daw to God, if you're receptive, everything that you encounter in your life becomes your teacher. And even an FHM magazine becomes a holy book.
yes,
Totoo
yes,
yun.
yes, yes.
Even if you open the pages of the FHM, syempre may mga words doon. And sometimes, kahit may word na nakasulat doon, it's meant for a different thing, but it appears into your consciousness as something different. Uy, ito pala yung message na hinahanap ko. Ito yung
Mm.
sagot na hinahanap ko matagal na.
Yes, I
Parang
have
ganun.
I've had those encounters rin. Like what I said, after being born again, my belief is everything is meant to be. Anything that happens in your life, even if you fail, it is meant to be. It is a lesson that you were meant to learn. And sometimes we miss the opportunity of picking up these lessons. That's why we always have to be open and to absorb anything, even though if it comes from an FHM magazine, like what you said, tama. Oo.
Totoo, totoo. Like anything. Yung sinasabi mo kanina, yung billboard dun eh, nag-flashback sa akin eh. Um, kasi 'di ba, araw-araw mo nakita yung billboard, it doesn't make any sense to you, but when you start to have, let's say, spiritual awakening, you're starting to have your spiritual journey, lahat ng nakikita mo sa paligid mo, it becomes a message. Kahit yung pag-akyat ng butike,
Mm.
yung billboard, the message sudden, uy, tama no, ito yung hinahanap ko ngayon, or you know, it triggers something in you. So grabe.
Oh, because we are not physical beings. Eh. We are spiritual beings in a physical vessel, and that the world doesn't really communicate with us in a physical form. It communicates with us in a form that we cannot see. We can only feel.
Yun
I
yun.
mean, in a spiritual sense. Eh.
In a spiritual sense, parang in a higher perspective, we are all connected, we are all one. so
Oo.
so so
Mm-mm.
these random quote unquote images, this is really not random, but these are things that are parang meant to be shown to us. Eto, tinawag ito ni Carl Jung eh. Yung naging kaaway ni Sigmund Freud after eh. Si Carl Jung, sabi niya ito yung synchronicity. Kasi Carl Jung theorized that there is a collective subconscious, na lahat daw ng subconscious mind ng lahat ng tao sa buong mundo It's all connected. That's why, yun, there are, let's say, parang may mga palang predisposed, let's say, characteristics or yung tinatawag yung may mga archetypes na, di ba, for example, if you're a man, even if hindi ka nakapag-aral or hindi ka naturuan ng, let's say, tatay mo paano mag-alaga ng anak. But once you become a father, it becomes like natural for you to be a father without
Mm.
people teaching you, because according to Carl Jung, there's already a data, quote unquote, of fatherhood in the collective subconscious. So
Mm.
sabi ko, wow,
It's yeah, it's the
yeah,
same thing as let's say a cat with kittens.
totoo.
The cat never learned how to become a mother,
Mm-mm,
but she knows how to become a mother. She knows how to tend to her kittens.
mm-mm.
You know,
Yeah, yun yung ano, yun yung collective subconscious na sinasabi ni ano ni Carl Jung. Kaya because our subconscious is somewhat collective, meron tayong personal, meron ding collective. So um nagkakaroon din ng synchronicity sa mga buhay natin. So, akala natin, ang mga nangyayari is hindi ito connected, pero tulad nga ng sinabi ng pastor na ano, yung kinikwento mo kanina, this is not an accident that this is happening. So, though it
oh
may sound so cliche, but true enough, it's actually what's happening. Everything is meant to happen because there is a certain, synchronization kung saan if these things will happen, may mga mapupulot kang aral. This is really meant to happen. Tulad ng interview na to ngayon, this is really, really meant to happen.
kasi I lost my TikTok account. It was permanently banned.
Permanently
pero
ba? Hindi pala siya
oh,
ano lang, temporary lang.
pero baka nga yung purpose ko sa sa TikTok was really to just find you eh. Yun nga eh. Sometimes the world works like that eh. You are led to a place only for one reason, for one purpose, to meet a person, to learn something. Because sometimes life will crumble down, you will lose a job or whatever. Pero you didn't lose that job, that certain job. It's because you gained something from that day. There's a reason always. This is what I learned. There's always a reason for anything that happens in your life. Diba? I will in social media, I gain momentum and I resurface through the battle of the YouTubers, diba?
Totoo.
My take on that is okay, I lost my spot in the battle of the YouTubers, but what I gained from it is my YouTube account and my momentum in my ano tawag dito, my appearance in social media, you know.
Parang it led you to a different path na okay din
Mm.
naman, though it was
Oo.
not what you originally planned eh. Di ba?
Yes.
It's not what you originally planned, but it's treading you to a unique path where it's also called, quote unquote, successful din in a way kasi nga it's just a different way of doing things. Hindi nga lang siya yung una mong pinlano.
Yeah.
Grabe no, grabe yung Diyos kumbaga on how things happen, the twists of fate, 'di ba? Kasi we have our own will eh. We have our own plans, but sabi nga sa Bible, 'di ba? I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Jeremiah
To give
29:11.
you hope and
Yeah,
a future.
to give you hope in the future. Grabe.
Let's since we're bringing out Bible quotes. Wait lang.
Sige, sige.
I have this quote that I live by. It's from the book of Matthew,
Mm,
chapter 6. Pero lagi ko nakakalimutan yung anong number nung verse. Pero it goes like this. Do not worry about what you will eat or what you will wear. Look at the birds in the air. They do not sow or reap, but the Father feeds them. How much worth are you compared to the birds in the air? Being a child of God,
grabe. Mm.
what more worth are you? So do not worry about what you will eat or what you will wear. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Yeah, yeah, that's my life verse. I mean,
Mm, mm,
it used to be Jeremiah 29:11, pero yun nga, let me
mm,
check Matthew 6, yun lang, to be exact.
mm, mm. Basta that was the thought eh, 'di ba? You don't have to worry about your
24.
life. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and wait lang. Wait lang. Uh, whew. And it used to be ano alam mo kung paano kung saan ko natutunan 'yan? Eh,
Saan, saan?
it manifested through me. It manifested with me through Bob Marley, through his song Three Little Birds.
Mm.
Singing don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing
It's
is gonna
gonna
be
be
all right.
alright, you know.
And for a time in my physical journey, because yun nga, galing kami sa hirap, coming from the middle of nowhere, sa kaligitnaan ng kagubatan. I wanted to make a name for myself and, at least have work. So I would go from the mountains of Antipolo down to Manila and pupunta akong Makati para lang mag-audition, mag-BTR, mag-modeling nun. Tapos lagi kong kinakanta yun. Singing, don't worry about a thing. And then every time I find myself in a anxious situation where minsan natatakot ako kung ano yung mangyayari sa future, ganyan, kakantahin ko lang yun. And then when I learned about that verse, ayun na, na-solidify na yung belief
Yung
ko about
pinaka-belief mo. Mm.
not to worry. Kasi it is written in the Bible that you should not worry about what you will eat and what you will wear, but let tomorrow worry about itself. And then, ayun, I'm just gonna share that since you
Mm.
asked naman.
Yeah, yeah, very, very powerful verse. And I think no, yung mga nanonood sa atin would agree to that. And if they are still not doing it, maybe they will have the courage to really listen talaga, and not
Yeah,
worry about what will happen in the future. Because if they are just following that voice, or those messages na nasasagap nila when they are really open to God, then ba, um life will not be that hard, though there will be hardships, of course. But if we also are open to the lessons of those hardships, ba, let's see Kiko Matos as an example. Grabe, no? Where God is placing him right now. And that's because of listening, being receptive, being open to the message of God. Anyway,
yeah.
uh,
Sometimes here on this earth there is an enemy. Okay, if you're a Christian, you are aware that there is an enemy, and it is in the form of the devil. In a spiritual sense, it's this negative energy, and this energy exists to really pull you down. You know, the, kaya may mga nagpapakamatay, kaya there are cases of suicidal. It's because this energy uh, feeds feeds on
parang feeds on
the
our
down
energy. Mm-mm.
it feeds on the downfall of men.
Mm-mm.
It satisfies itself in failure, in sad moments, in anger, in the negative. So you are not going through you are not sad because you are sad. You are sad because this energy wants you to be sad. This energy exists to make sure that it will take the life out of you, you know. But because there is a God, there is a positive energy that is available to us. It is up to you which way you want to go. If you want to stay down here and feed the demon with all the negativity in life, then bahala ka, so be it, dyan ka. But if you choose to go up, if you choose to claim this positive energy, it will take you away from from that pit that you yourself built. I don't know
Totoo.
if I'm making sense.
Yeah,
If you,
you're actually making sense. Sa atin din naman kasi sa Gnostic Christianity, it's like, 'di ba? parating sinasabi ng mga mainstream Christians that Jesus came into this world to save us. To save
Yes,
us from what? To save us from what? To save us
from our sins.
from our sins, di ba?
Yeah.
But saan ba nanggagaling yung sins? Eh, di ba tayo lang din naman yung ginagawa? So it's pretty much like Jesus came into the world to save
Yes,
us.
yes, 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 tayo gumagawa, but we were tempted to
Mm-mm.
do it. Something else tempted
There's an
us.
energy, a collective energy. Eh,
Yes.
that's what you're ano eh. Oh, there's a collective
Oo.
energy. And so Jesus came
You are
here
not sad. You are not sad because you are
because you're
sad.
sad.
You are made to be sad. 'Di ba? You are made to be sad. If you love a girl so much tapos iniwan ka niya, whose fault is it? 'Di ba?
Mm-mm.
It's entirely your fault kasi hinayaan mo tong
Na mangyari yun.
na mangyari yun. Pero you were led to it. Who led you to it? It was the girl. 'Di ba?
Totoo. Mm-mm. So what I'm trying to say is that, Jesus came here to give us like life lessons, parang the teachings pa. The teachings on how are we able to overcome this. And
Mm.
yan nga, out of 'di ba napakadaming scriptures, yung naka-survive lang din naman sa New Testament eh kokonti lang. So in our study then, there are still other teachings na tinuro si Jesus, at may mga meditation din siyang itinuro din. And right now, limited lang din yung alam natin about these teachings. But the outer teachings and the inner teachings of Jesus, nakasurvive siya sa New Testament. Especially yung alam mo yun, makikita mo yung comparison ng different religious traditions. For example, the law of karma, di ba? Law of karma nasa Buddhism,
Mm.
tama. Pero
Oo.
sa Christianity, ang nasa atin is it's about, the more you give, the more you receive.
Mm.
So, parang iba lang yung iba lang yung pagkaka-discuss kasi nga
Na
ibang
naalala ko
culture.
nga
Mm-mm.
yung isang Bible study leader namin, I was talking about karma. Tapos inano na ako kagad, diniscount niya ako kagad na parang, no, we don't believe in karma. Sabi ko, why? It's not biblical, sabi niya ganun. Sabi ko,
Well,
sabi ko, okay, but you know how karma works. Sabi kong ganun. Sabi niya, yeah, but karma is not real. Tapos sabi ko, okay, when you do something bad, so inano ko na, 'di ba? Parang liniteral ko na para
ah,
hindi
ah,
niya ako supalpalin. So mas tinanggap niya 'yun.
mm-mm.
Mas
Mas,
tinanggap niya 'yun nung sinimplify ko
ganun na yung
yung
usapan, oo.
in-explain ko yung karma.
Uh,
Pero pag nung binanggit ko yung karma, inano niya na kagad.
totally close yung mind niya.
Oo.
Parang kasi you were talking in a language na hindi niya naiintindihan. Iba yung frequency nun. Pag sinabing karma, ay, di yan Christian. Pero pag sinabi
Oo.
mong the more you give, the more you receive, di ba? Give and take.
Oo.
Okay, it becomes
Mas
Christian.
tinanggap niya, oo.
It becomes Christian, yun eh. So yeah, these are, things na mahirap i-explain sa mga taong nandun pa sila sa paniniwala I mean, close pa yung paniniwala nila, nandun pa sa mainstream religion talaga, especially Christianity. Pero for those people who are like you, for example, ikaw, naging born again Christian, you still follow the framework of Christianity, but in a much broader perspective, kasi mas broad-minded ka, because of all the experiences you had, then mas naano mo siya, mas na-absorb mo siya ng mabuti. Mas
Mm.
nako-compare mo sa other spiritual traditions na hindi niya sinasagasaan yung paniniwala mo as a Kristiyano. It's like
Mm.
it's like for example, me, I take Buddhist, Hindu, Islamic practices, even the Rastafari practices. Kahit anong makita kong maganda sa ibang religion, I use that for me to become a better Christian.
Mm.
Oo.
Yeah.
Yun yun. And I think parang yun din yung ginagawa mo if I'm not mistaken. Parang ganun din
Yeah.
kasi nakasentro pa din yung mo eh. Nakasentro yung pinaka-spirituality mo kay Christ eh. Sa teachings talaga ni Jesus eh.
Oo.
It's just that there are other spiritual traditions that are also valid and we can get some practices from there. But eto
Yes.
ako, I'm still a
Kasi
Christian.
kasi we go back to the saying great mind thinks alike, 'di ba?
Totoo.
I'm sure the Buddha would would agree with Christ kung nagkaroon sila ng inuman session, 'di ba?
Ah,
Tas isama mo pa si the Prophet Muhammad.
Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
I'm sure pag nagkainuman silang tatlo, mag-agree sila sa mga ano, 'di ba?
Ah,
At hindi sila mag they will not try to step on each other's feet
Totoo.
and saying no, what your belief is wrong, this is right. I'm sure hindi sila magaganon. I'm sure they will find the commonalities
Mm.
in what they believe in, to give favor to God or to give
Mm-mm.
favor to Allah.
Oo, totoo, totoo. Um, Yun nga eh. Yun yung problema kasi tayo ngayon, we become parang we become too focused on books, on doctrines, on dogma where yung faith, yung original teachings, instead na parang free flowing siya para madali siyang ma-absorb, madaling i-adapt ng kahit na sino, nag-crystallize. Doon
Mm,
na parang namatay na yung spirituality. So when spirituality died, it became religious doctrine. Naging dogma na siya
mm,
na hindi mo pwede tong sirain kasi pag sinuway mo to, punta ka sa impyerno, pag sinuway mo to, ganito ganyan. Tayo lang ang maliligtas, tayo lang ang totoo. 'Di ba? The rest of the world is wrong. Tayo lang. But if we think na we are right, but others could also be right. It's just that nandun sila, nandito tayo. O, 'di ba? Wala
mm.
sanang problema doon. Pero yun nga sabi mo kanina, magiging boring ang mundo.
Oo.
Magiging boring kasi pare-pareho na tayo ng paniniwala din.
What's your take on the afterlife?
So the Catholic Universalist Church, basically we are a universalist church. So when you say universalist, we believe in the idea of universalism, whereby we believe that everyone will be reunited with God in the fullness of time. So everyone,
Mm,
quote unquote, goes to heaven, or if you want to take that in the Buddhist or Hindu perspective, everyone will become enlightened and be one with God in the fullness of time. Pero yung universalism, may dalawang versions kasi yan. We have the traditional Christian universalism, whereby people or early Christians, in the first 500 years of Christianity, wala kasing eternal hell na doctrine. After na yan, sa 500 AD.
oh,
So,
talaga?
oo, totoo. Basically, yung mga Christians during that time, in the first 500 years of Christianity, those Jewish Christians, they believe in reincarnation or Gilgulum. Kasi sa Jewish mysticism, yung tinatawag nilang Kabbalah, may teaching na about reincarnation. 'Di ba napansin mo sa Bible, John the Baptist is actually the reincarnation of Elijah. So,
Mm, yeah.
yun. Oh. So, there's already a belief of reincarnation sa mga Jews. While the Gentile Christians, the followers of Paul, they believe in a temporary hell. Doon na buo yung doctrine ni Saint Augustine about purgatorio.
Mm,
So, but it's still not eternal hell. Kung naging makasalanan ka, pupunta ka doon sa purgatory, ipopurge ka, saka ka mapupunta sa heaven or to be one with God. Now, sa Catholic Universalist Church, regardless kung saan doon sa dalawa yung paniniwala mo, we don't hindi namin yan we don't say na mali ka or tama ka because we are united in the belief that everyone will be reunited with God in the fullness of time.
this
But
is from the book of nakita ko to sa isang documentary eh. The book of Eli. Ay, hindi. The book, yung isang
Enoch,
Enoch, the book of
uh,
Enoch. Diba, yun eh. Diyan nakasulat yun eh. Napanood ko sa isang documentary yan eh. Book
yeah,
of Enoch.
madami kasing writings na hindi nakasurvive din sa canon ng Bible kasi nga during the Council of Nicaea, pinili lang nila kung saan yung alam mo yun, magiging God talaga si Jesus, magiging
And this is during the time of Constantine, right?
yes, when he
Oh,
wanted to make Rome great again. So,
yes, yes, yes.
naano siya. Yun yung pinaka nangyari talaga eh. But kami sa Catholic Universalist Church, since available na sa atin itong mga documents na to, we realize na totoo pala na in the first 500 years of Christianity, walang teaching ng eternal hell. So, meaning, kung ikaw, ako, tayo, we believe in reincarnation, then this is not a new age thing. Hindi ito gawa-gawa lang ng mga, alam mo yun, mga hippies, kundi ito talaga yung belief ng early Christians.
Actually, bro, I feel I'm reincarnated. I don't know. I
I mean, most likely, if you believe in reincarnation, most likely you are because, having this type of, let's say, mentality that we have right now, the way we perceive and understand things, according to the masters of the path, yun yung sinasabi nila, no? nag-evolve din kasi yung consciousness ng mga tao. So, every incarnation, nag-evolve yung consciousness, nag-evolve yung awareness. So,
Yun
kaya,
nga eh. Kaya yun yung
mm,
sinasabi ko eh. Parang yung consciousness ko is in a different level. Hindi ko to sinasabi para i-declare na mas maganda yung consciousness ko sa iba. Sinasabi ko lang to because I feel it na parang I know something that not everybody knows. And that's why when I saw your content, parang I felt connected with what you are saying. Feeling ko talaga. Kasi minsan may makikilala akong tao, pero sobrang familiar sa akin yung tao na yun. Pero yung tipong parang na-meet ko na sila before, pero first time ko pa lang sila na-meet. May ganun akong feelings. Tapos in my interpretation, I call it as me being an old soul, and then yung encountering the same soul is also another old soul that I've met way before. Pero in technicalities, ngayon lang kami nag-meet.
totoo. Yun yung sinasabi nilang ano eh. Um, parang that person was with you in your past life. So, maybe you had like a different relationship. Siguro kaaway mo, kaibigan mo, kapatid mo, or who knows. Um, yun, madaming cases na ganyan. So, yun eh. Ito yung interesting eh. Kasi recurring ang themes na ito in different spiritual traditions. Hindi lang sa Buddhism. Kala ko nga dati, nung bata pa ako, mga high school siguro, kala ko Buddhism at Hinduism lang may ganito. But when I started to really dig deep in ancient religions, especially the, ancient, ano talaga, Christianity, yung belief na ito nag-e-exist din pala. So, it confirmed my, ano.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Ako naman my own opinion. Kasi meron kaming babuyan. So this is how, taking back to the topic where God speaks to us, you know, even outside from the Bible, God speaks to us. God speaks to us in a spiritual sense. So, meron kaming babuyan. We have a farm. Tapos naawa ako sa mga baboy namin. Pero the thing is, kung ako magpapakabayani tapos ipapatigil ko yung operasyon ng nanay ko dun sa babuyan, edi sino lang makikinabang? Yung mga ibang may babuyan. Tapos kami, okay, tinigil namin. Paano kami mabubuhay? Diba?
Totoo.
So, so kagad, ang conclusion ko is, okay, I'll just let it be. Okay? I'll just keep a blind eye on it and, mabubuhay kami. Pero, I wanted to dig deeper. Kasi, what's the purpose of, a living creature when it's just slaughtered when its purpose of living is to be slaughtered and be eaten? What's the purpose? Why bakit to nag-exist? Tapos I guess I don't know if I came to conclusion or yung subconscious mind ko biglang nagbigay ng sagot is because when you are reincarnated, correct me if I'm wrong, in the teachings of Buddha, what you do in your life, so you do good, you will be elevated in your next life. You will be rewarded with a better position in life. Let's say, palaka ka ngayon, dahil naging mabuti kang palaka, magiging tao ka in the next life. Pero kung tao ka, tapos ang ginawa mo sa buhay mo ay nagpahirap sa maraming tao, sa susunod, ikaw na yung baboy na isa-slaughter. And to connect with or to relate with what you just said, yung parang may temporary purgatory or temporary hell, I guess, kung pagdudugtong natin yung mga sinasabi natin, may katotohanan sa reincarnation na pwede kang ma-reincarnate bilang baboy na isa-slaughter para ipakain sa mga tao. I don't know, would you agree?
Well, it's a possibility though. Kasi ganito kasi yan eh. Even the idea of reincarnation in different spiritual traditions, iba-iba din kasi yung take nila. Oo.
Mm.
May mga Hindu sect na naniniwala diyan na for example, if you die, you're a bad person, you will become like an animal or an insect if you're really really mean. But if you're good, you get elevated in a higher status. While in sa atin kasi sa Jewish Kabbalah, which is doon nag-derive yung Gnosticism pala. Parang Gnosticism was a derivative of Kabbalah. Kasi Kabbalah was Jewish and Gnosticism was from Christianity. The idea of reincarnation is a more of a spiritual evolution. So, if you get
Mm.
reincarnated next life, tao ka pa rin, but your conditions will be worse if you're really a mean person. Um, let's say, for example, if you were this really, let's say, very beautiful singer, or you have a very beautiful voice in this life, maybe next lifetime you will still inherit that voice, but the conditions of your life is different. For example, naging bulag ka because maybe because in your past life may nakita kang crime, tapos alam mo yun, nagsinungaling ka, hindi nakulong yung gumawa ng krimen kahit nakakita ka. So mga ganon.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's more of an evolution kasi naging tao ka pa rin sa susunod. It's just that the condition of your life will either get better or get worse. Kasi mahirap kasing kwentahin yung karma eh. Kasi in one lifetime, you did a lot of good stuff, you also did a lot of bad stuff. So all those merits and demerits, madadala mo yan sa next life mo. So that's how we see it, at least no,
Mm.
in our perspective of reincarnation. But that's also a good theory kasi really we are not certain kung ano ba talaga. That's one thing is for sure. But we have hopes kasi based on the scriptures and based also in our spiritual experiences that there really is, number one, a God, and number two, there is really a destination that we are going to be one with God, all of us. But about the process, kung paano yun ginagawa, we can only quote-unquote theorize based on what's available sa atin. Based sa
Yeah.
scriptures na available, based din siguro sa experiences natin, personal experience. But at the end of the day, hindi naman yung belief natin I mean, it's not our beliefs that makes us better person eh. It's really our character, our,
Will.
relationship.
Our will.
Yeah, yun, will natin, yung relationship talaga natin sa divine, yun talaga yung pinaka importante. Kasi, di ba, paano kung Buddhist ka, ano ka, memorize mo lahat ng mga scriptures, ganun-ganun. Pag tinanong ka, nakasagot ka agad. Pero pagdating dun sa actual application mo sa buhay mo, how did you live your life? Were you really listening to the will of the divine? Yung mga ganon, yung mga tipong ganon. And again, it's not for us to judge others, but it's only God who can really judge us. So we'll just continue with our path, continue listening
Mm.
to God. Oo.
Yeah. Yeah,
Galing.
totoo kasi we cannot it's just a theory rin.
Oo.
In the end, baka nga mali pa yung paniniwala natin. Baka
Oo.
all of this, all of this doesn't really is really just nonsense.
This,
Baka nga, baka mamaya pagka namatay tayo, it's really just infinite darkness.
mm.
Di ba?
Yeah. It's part of the realm of infinite possibilities. Oh, totoo.
Mm,
Pwede din ganun. Or pwede na ganun din yun. Parang metaphor lang na to be one with God is just to be, just to be nothing. It's just like with
yeah.
the way we were born, we really didn't know anything. And when
Mm,
we die, parang ganun lang din yung process eh. Oo.
mm,
Oh, ganun din yung process. Who knows? It could just be a metaphor. But what's really good is that when we are on a spiritual path, when we are in a spiritual journey, we are actually grounded eh. Kasi may teachings tayo na sinusunod. And we are grounded because it makes sense in our life. Though it seems to be a bit mysterious, but once we take a step forward, uy, putik, nakarating ako dito. Para kang, alam, buhay natin, para tayong nagda-drive sa ano yung madilim na daan. Di ba,
mm.
nagmumotorsiklo ka, tapos yung ilaw mo isa lang. Oo.
Oh,
Yung ilaw mo siguro, ilang metro lang ang layo. Di mo talaga nakikita kung ano pa talagang nasa, ano ba, na 10
ahead.
meters away from you. Oo. Yun lang. But you have faith that since you see what's in front of you, kahit na parang 3 to 5 meters lang yan, you go forward. You go forward. Kung ano yung nakikita mong obstacle, lilihis ka. Ganon lang.
Mm.
So that's how, that's how I see life. We just have faith. Yung ilaw na yun, nasa atin yun lahat eh. We just need to hold on to that. Because,
Maniwala ka,
oo,
maniwala ka, merong isang gabi, nag-drive ako na walang ilaw.
walang ilaw. Yung, sa, ano yan, sa motorsiklo? Yung
Sa
ibig
motor,
sabihin.
oo.
Oo.
Nasira yung ilaw ko nun, sira yung fuse. Pero because of faith na makakauwi ako, nakauwi ako. Wala lang. Wala lang. Naalala ko lang kasi yung
Yun yung
example
story.
mo eh.
Oo. Yun nga, yun nga. Yun eh, faith eh. Faith. Importante yun. Um, yeah, speaking of faith, sabi ni Andrew Tate, humans really need to have a belief in God, even if you just think God as a concept. It's because yun yung mag-a-anchor kasi sa'yo. Yun yung mag-a-anchor sa atin lahat. So if we don't have
Mm.
faith in something transcendent, mahirap i-anchor yung mga buhay natin, di ba? Kagaya ng sa'yo, yung mga nangyayari sa'yo, di mo siya ma-explain. But you think that, there is a God guiding you. And that's it. That's actually it. That's if you believe that God is, within everything and everyone, everything will make sense, di ba? Yung problema kasi most of the time sa mga religions kasi is when God is personified, when God is put into like binigyan natin siya ng parang personality, parang persona. Yung nangyayari eh our God only loves the people we love and hate the people we hate.
Mm.
Ganun yung nangyayari. Kasi if God is personified, yun na. It will only love.
Limited na.
Limited na siya.
Limited na.
Oo, limited na siya. Yung personification din naman ng God natin, we can do that naman in a personal level. Kasi even though how broad our minds are, parang yung understanding God kasi is just like the ocean. 'Di ba yung ocean napaka-deep. 'Di ba formless, shapeless. But our minds para siyang tasa. So if your mind is like a star, so kung kukuha ka ng tubig sa ocean, the water of the ocean becomes a star. So
Mm.
you'll say that the ocean is star shaped. Tapos yung isa naman, no, it's circle shaped kasi circle naman yung cup niya. So meaning our understanding of God is just limited sa perception natin.
Yeah.
Oo. And I think one step siguro na kailangan nating gawin is that we need to recognize that limitation. I'm not saying na hindi na, kasi it's really impossible to go beyond this limitation except siguro kung siguro wala na tayo dito, yung consciousness natin talagang or if you are, let's say, under the, parang there is a psychedelic effect na nangyayari sa utak mo. It could be because of a psychedelic or intensive meditation, kaya nag-expand yung consciousness. But even with that, limited pa din. Kasi parang yung kay Saint Augustine, yung dream ni Saint Augustine dati, um, kasi gusto daw ni Saint Augustine na alam mo yun maintindihan kung ano ba talaga ang Diyos. So, in a dream, Saint Augustine saw this boy na kinukuha niya yung tubig galing sa dagat. Tapos inilalagay niya dun sa alam mo yun dun sa Bay Area. May maliit siya na butas na hinukay. So,
Mm.
yung bata kumukuha siya ng tubig sa dagat, nilalagay niya sa hinukay niya. Tapos nawawala yung tubig. So, tumatakbo na naman yung bata pabalik sa dagat, kumukuha ng tubig, nilalagay niya dun sa butas. Sabi ni Saint Augustine, Iho, ano yung ginagawa mo? Sabi niya, sir, inililipat ko yung tubig sa dagat papunta dito sa maliit na butas na to. Sabi niya, iho, ano yan? Imposible yang mangyari, imposible yang gawin. Di mo pwedeng ilagay ang lahat ng tubig sa dagat dyan sa maliit na butas. Tapos sinabihan siya ng bata na, yan nga po sir mas imposible yung iniisip mo na ipasok mo dyan sa utak mo ang infinite wisdom or infinite knowledge about God. And then he woke
Mm.
up. So that was the story of Saint Augustine. Sabi niya, oo nga, no? Yun, no? Yun, grabe yun. So that was a very, humbling experience para kay Saint Augustine. At ako din, nung narinig ko yun, oo nga, no? So first, we need to recognize that there is this limitation. And siguro nga, kahit gaano ka open-minded ako ngayon about God, kulang pa din ito, hindi pa din ito kung ano talaga si God. But, yun nga, just have
Yeah,
faith, listen, and
yeah, dagdagan ko lang yung sa story mo about our limited perception of God. Parang may napanood ako dati sa TV, an episode of um, this atheist. He was talking about, that he refuses to believe that the existence of God is real. Because if God is real, why are there children in Africa who die instantly because of starvation? And if there is a God, why wouldn't he? If there is an all-loving God, why is there children that die? And then, syempre, ako naman, naniniwala na ako sa Diyos nun. Tapos, parang, ang hirap intindihin, ang hirap sagutin nung ano niya, nung argument niya. Tapos, yun na, I've concluded na it's because my mind is not the same as the mind of God. I cannot have an answer why children die of starvation and diseases at a young age, and God doesn't do anything. But what I am certain is that everything has a reason. It may not be in this life, pero only God can answer that because His mind is infinite. So,
Totoo. Mm.
yun nga, dun ko. At tas isa pa, wa- uh, change topic pero in the topic of atheism, ngayon sa ano ko, sa paniniwala ko, hindi na ako naniniwala na ang atheist hindi naniniwala sa Diyos.
Bakit, bakit?
Because the mere fact na in-acknowledge mo na hindi ka naniniwala sa Diyos, ibig sabihin, naniniwala ka sa Diyos pero dinideny mo lang yung existence niya.
Yeah, that's a good point. Parang what they're doing is they are denying the existence.
Yes.
Oo.
Yes.
Oo.
Kasi kung hindi ka talaga naniniwala sa Diyos, hindi mo rin babanggitin the, the, the name of God. Yung para bang, do you believe in God? What's a God? Yun ang hindi naniniwala sa Diyos. Pero kung atheist ka, sinasabi mong atheist ka, ibig sabihin, naniniwala ka sa Diyos pero dinideny mo lang.
Totoo. May nakausap din ako mga atheists dati. But these atheists are mature atheists. Hindi sila yung, alam mo yun, yung mga college students na, alam mo yun, aggressive na aggressive pa talaga. Hindi sila mga ganun. So, when we had a conversation, nung naging deeper na yung conversation namin, these atheists actually, some of them believed in, the transcendent. They believe in uh, let's say a power that governs everything. They just refuse to call it God because most of them, they're actually against the idea of the God that the Christians were imposing. So yun yung pinaka ano. But yung isa sabi niya, I really wouldn't know if there is a God or there is not a God, but I want to believe, or I feel that there is something transcendent that governs all the processes of the universe. I just don't call it God because if a Christian defines a God, this is what a God is and this is what a God isn't. But for me, the everything that there is, this is something transcendent. So it's really philosophical. It's very deep. Pero alam mo, mafe-feel mo ba na um, most of the time, people are actually just against what has been established by, let's say, by the society, which
Mm.
is causing more harm to people than than
Then
protecting
good.
them, than good. Yeah, oo. Kasi 'di ba, there are certain doctrines din naman in Christianity na alam mo yun, not in all churches but there are some churches na grabe ang makadiscriminate ng ibang tao. So, yun lang din. Uh, Kahit nga reproductive health bill pinapakialaman ng ng simbahan. So,
Are you pro-abortion?
um me personally, so our church, we really don't say we are pro or anti because we really don't judge people. Sa amin lang talaga, uh, if it's what's needed, then we don't say do it. But if you do it, um, the church does not judge you.
Encourage?
Yeah, but
Okay, judge you.
personally, me, um, I would say that I think abortion should be decriminalized, but I'm not saying na um, abortion should be legalized. Personal take ko to, personal take.
So it's a special case.
Yeah, it's especially
Oh,
dapat siya ma-decriminalize kasi for example, there are special cases kasi na kailangan talaga yung abortion pero hindi pwedeng gawin, and once a person wants to do that, walang ospital na pwedeng mag-cater niyan. So alam mo yun, madaming negative.
oh.
Oo, oo, yun yung ano ko. Oo. Ikaw, how do you, what's your
Well,
take?
I think if a young woman who was who got impregnated by accident unwillingly and couldn't, support a child, if she chooses to abort her child, then so be it. I mean, it's her right.
Yeah, it's her body. Totoo.
And
And
um, or in some cases,
rape
if
victims.
rape victims or
Yun, oh.
let's say abnormal physicalities like kunwari kulang ng paa or kulang ng isang limb, instead of letting the child be born with an abnormal status, if the mother chooses not to continue, then so be it. Pero there are some cases that people with abnormal statuses or physicalities, they they ano they
They
become
prosper in life.
inspirations. They
Totoo.
prosper in life, and they become inspirations to many. um and I salute them for being good parents and raising you know
These, kinds of kids, yeah.
disabled kids. But that should also be a right.
Mm.
It should be a right, to
Mm.
choose if
Ano mahaba-habang usapan pa yan sa
mahabang usapan.
sa Kongreso at sa Senado kasi 'di ba, Catholic country daw, Christian country yung Philippines. Yung progressive Christians naman in the US, they are actually pro-abortion. They don't discriminate. Tayo, we belong to progressive and liberal churches. Our bishops are Americans. So they are really to that. They are pro-abortion. But
Mm.
again, the church doesn't kasi sa Catholic Universalist Church, what you do in bed, that's yours. Okay, your personal choices, that's yours. The church is just here to guide you, to
Mm.
give you advice, but we are not here to like hold you in the neck and command you, this is good, this is not good, you should only do this, don't do this. We're here to guide, and then whatever is your decision, know that God still loves you, know that the church is still open for you regardless of your decision. Walang guilt tripping na ay si nagpa-abort yan, ano yan, uy, ba't nandito yan, nagsisimba, napakamakasalanan yan. Walang ganon. Mm-mm.
Actually, tao lang yung ganun.
Oo, totoo.
I don't think there's a church that will judge you. I mean, there is a priest that's gonna judge you, oo.
Mm-mm.
Pero tao lang din yung pare, eh.
Totoo.
But the real essence of a church being there is for the sinners. Jesus didn't came to be with the
Mm,
rich
totoo.
and the healthy. He came for the sick and the poor.
Exactly. Totoo. Yun yan, no. Yun eh. Yun eh. Yun yung pinaka-message. And,
Mm.
you know, people
That's
forget
what
that.
that's what one reason why I guess my failed my the foundation of my faith became stronger, because I was sick, not sick in disease, but I was my spirit was sick, and I was really poor. Hindi poor na mahirap na dahil walang pera, pero poor na kawawa. And nung natutunan ko yun na hindi dumating ang Diyos para makibagay sa sikat at mga mayayaman, doon ako doon lumakas yung pananampalataya ko na kasama ko ang Diyos.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful things in Christianity.
Totoo.
Oh,
Oo. Yun eh. Yun yung, yun yung pinaka-message talaga eh.
oh.
Love, love one another talaga. Pero yun nga, tao lang yung gumagawa ng ganyan. But still, regardless, we just pray for them. We just na hopefully din sila, bago din ang puso't isipan nila para alam mo yun kasi ang daming mga taong nagsa-struggle sa mundo. Tapos, alam mo yun, yung simbahan na lang yung tanging lugar na pwede nilang puntahan.
Mm.
Pero nung pumunta sila doon, doon pa yung may
Nahusgahan pa sila.
pinakamadaming panghuhusga, di ba? So this is the
Mm.
house of God. Ba't ganito? Daming ano. So that's why people, there are people who resort to atheism. Uy, mas maganda maging atheist. May nagiging agnostic. Meron ng mga nagsasabi na, Father Joe, kung nakilala ka pa lang namin dati, hindi siguro ako naging atheist ngayon. Siguro nagsisimba pa din ako ngayon. So madaming mga nagme-message ng ganyan. Ako naman, wala tayong chapel, so di ko sila madala sa na meron. Wala pa eh.
Hindi,
For
ang
now,
chapel mo, TikTok,
yun. Oh, yun na dinala ko na lang siya sa social media.
social media.
Mm-mm.
Eh, ano naman na take mo sa LGBT?
Well, sa LGBT community, I don't know if you've seen this in my posts. We do accept them, not just accept, but we are LGBT affirming. Ibig sabihin, we accept people of, alam mo yun, yeah, we accept the LGBT community, not just them, but also with their partners. And
Oo.
we also officiate LGBT unions. So I don't know if you've seen my videos or my photos of that I'm officiating, uh, yun nga, holy unions for gays, for lesbians. Um, pero di siya officially recognized ng state. It's
Yeah,
just
which is,
a ceremony lang siya. So for now, we call it Holy Union. Hindi talaga siya marriage.
oo.
But the process is the same. The process is the same.
Yeah,
Yun nga,
but pero yung ang problema kasi yung right.
totoo.
Kasi like let's say okay, you've united two couples. But what if the other dies? Yung right to
Inheritance.
inheritance, doon na nagkakaproblema.
Oo.
So backwards pa rin yung ano
Mm,
natin,
totoo.
yung governing law
Oo.
when it comes to
Pero may wina-workout sila ngayon sa Congress eh. But this is not for
hopefully.
the churches. Yung Civil Partnership Act. So, they can be united pero doon sila pupunta sa judge or sa mayor para ma-unite.
Mm,
Kasi ayaw nilang sagasaan yung sa simbahan daw kasi sensitive daw yung mga churches. Wala pa tayong marriage equality law eh. So, as for now, yun na talaga yung pinaka na-offer ko. At ina-explain ko din naman sa mga couples na as of the moment po, ito lang po yung magagawa ko. I can bless your union. I mean, I'm not the one who blesses the union. It's God who blesses the union. I just officiate. But, yun nga, it's not binding and legal as of yet dito sa Pilipinas. So we're really hoping talaga na kahit yung law lang na yun na mapasa, Civil Partnership Act, kasi yung blessing, anytime naman pwede nating ibigay. May mga simbahan din naman na nagbibigay ng blessing. It's just that yun talaga, yung sinasabi mo na, yung law talaga na magpoprotect sa couples.
mm,
Yun yung wala tayo.
oo.
So, may case dyan eh. If my memory serves me right, may nangyari na yung couple, yung isang gay, pinalaya sa bahay nila kasi nga bakla siya. Nagtanan na sila nitong partner niya. And eventually, through the years, nakapagpundar sila ng madaming gamit, magandang bahay, kotse, and all. And namatay yung isa. So, silang dalawa yung nag-build ng wealth, pero ngayon, ang may karapatan na mag-claim is yung family. Yung
Mm.
pamilya
Immediate,
yung nagpalayas ha, yung
oo.
walang ambag, sila kikinabang ngayon. So, this is one of the struggles talaga ng LGBT couples ngayon na we're
Oo.
hoping to rectify.
Yun yung ano tawag dito. Walang justice sa ganung cases.
Wala talagang dyan. Eto pa sa adoption. Kawawa sila,
Adoption,
nade-discriminate.
adoption pa.
Di sila nakakapag-adapt. Parehas kayong babae, parehas kayong lalaki. Ano ituturo nyo sa bata? Mga ganun.
Oo.
So, discriminatory din yan eh. So, dami naman diyang pinalaki ng mga LGBT couples. Hindi naman automatic nagiging LGBT yung bata din. Ano naman, kung straight ka naman talaga lalaki.
Oo.
Pag
Yun yung parang naiinis
genetic
ako sa
genetic.
naiinis ako sa tao pero parang ginuhusga nila. parang alam na alam nila kung ano yung, yun nga, yung genetic development ng isang tao. Especially pag sinasabi nila na kaya may bakla dahil tinuruan maging bakla. Parang, no,
Hindi eh. Hindi yun natuturo eh.
hindi natuturo yun eh. Actually, meron akong napanood na documentary. Sa Hawaii, the old Hawaii before the American colonization. There were three sexes. There's a female and the male, and the third sex is a female doing male work and a male doing female work.
Work. Mm-mm.
And there was a term for it, and that was accepted in their community
Mm-mm.
in the old
Yung parang tribal culture nila, part yun.
the
Oh.
tribal culture na there are
Mm-mm.
three sexes,
Mm-mm.
and the third sex was honored
Honored. Oo.
because uh they had a male physicality, but they can do female work, and the others had a female physicality, but they can do men's work, and vice versa. They can do both.
They can do both.
They can
Oh.
they can do both actually, and they were considered a much higher status.
Parang
Like they're
elevated sila sa ano,
It was elevated sila, mas
sa
special sila.
society.
Mas maganda yung treatment sa
Treatments
kanila.
po.
Unlike in this time of age, parang
Mm.
grabe yung discrimination.
Oo,
Grabe.
totoo.
Like
Mm. Oo nga, no?
uh,
In connection din to that, may nabasa din ako. I think that was an article. Uh, Yun nga, meron din tayong parang ganyan sa Pilipinas. Yung mga babaylan,
mm,
yung mga babaylan daw, dyan sa Luzon, normally kasi yung mga babaylan, babae yung ano, di ba babae yung gumagawa ng mga rituals and stuff,
mm,
healing, mga ganon. Pero, there are recorded documents na may mga lalaki pala na I forgot the term, pero may term sila eh in native language. Pero it's like a two-spirited person. So this male, kung siguro tatawagan natin ngayon, this person is gay or let's say trans. Kasi he is a male pero ginagawa niya yung roles and duties ng babaylan.
bae.
It's because this person they consider these people highly spiritual eh.
Mm,
Itong mga mga gays kasi they are possessing a male body but they contain like two spirits, yun yung term nila kasi evident yung feminine aspect nila, feminine side nila, kaya they can do the healing, the rituals, and they are elevated in the society.
Oh, it still falls down in a spiritual sense, di ba?
Oh,
Everything is spiritual, no?
all right. So, dear brothers and sisters, eto no, Kiko Matos, he shared a lot about his life today. So, grabe no, these are things the first time natin naririnig. Kiko Matos, thank you bro for
Thank you,
being
Father Joe.
with us today. And I hope na magkaroon pa tayo ng ganito no. Next time magkausap pa din tayo,
Oo.
magkasama pa din tayo, right? So, yeah, that's it for today, folks.
Sana pag dumami yung followers mo, huwag mo akong kalimutan.
Ay, syempre, hindi natin makakalimutan. Syempre, Kiko Matos, dear brothers and sisters. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much.
Namaste.
Namaste.